in the 10-man third inning that allowed the Otters to score 5 runs. Austin nicely comes in, the lefty, with a record of 3-4 with a 6.33 ERA, and looks to continue his winning ways heading into the second half of the 2019 season. Otters come in with a record of 29-22, second place in the Frontier League West Division, while the Lake Erie Crushers come in with a record of 25-24, a half game behind the Schaumburg Boomers in the Frontier League East Division. Now, the pitching staff for the Lake Erie Crushers is very good. It didn't show last night as the Otters were able to hit around early and often. But coming into today, the Lake Erie Crushers have the second best ERA in the Frontier League with a 3.16 ERA. So the Otters, with their number one batting average at .263, hope that they can hit around the pitcher today in Jared Koenig. We're about to hear the national anthem, and when we come back, it'll be first pitch from Bosse Field between the Evansville Otters and the Lake Erie Crushers right here on the Otters Digital Network and 91.5 WUEV.
You must call 811 at least 2 to 3 business days before any digging project. So before you do this or this, make sure you do this. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811.
Sheet Metal Workers Local 20 and SMACNA, the Sheet Metal and Air Conditioning Contractors National Association, have the most qualified sheet metal and HVAC contractors in the Evansville area. To find a list of our qualified union contractors, visit unionsheetmetalindustry.com.
It's game time for the Otters on 91.5 FM WUEV and the Otters Digital Network.
3-1. Long. Toward right. Toward the corner. Toward the foul pole and over the wall. Fair. Home run for Ryan Long.
First pitch. Cronin crushes it in the air to deep right field. He backflips it and it's way out of here.
Don't forget, Otters fans, you can catch every Evansville Otters broadcast on 91.5 FM WUEV, online at evansvilleotters.com, and through the WUEV mobile app.
Racusin deals the 2-2 pitch. Fastball called strike 3 on the inside corner. Vail rings up Bissell to end it, and the Otters are going back to the postseason.
Now, let's go out to the ballpark for all of the action.
Welcome to beautiful Bosse Field, home of the Evansville Otters. Dave Nguyen, glad you're here with us as the Evansville Otters take on the Lake Erie Crushers in Game 2 of this 3-game series, the opening series after the All-Star break. On the mound for the Otters will be the left-hander Austin Nicely, who after starting the year 0-4 with a 15 ERA, he won 3 straight games, including one of which against these Lake Erie Crushers, his first of 3 straight wins. He now has a 3-4 record with an ERA of 3.81, or 6.33, excuse me. In the field for the Otters will be Mike Rizzitello behind the plate. At third base, Ryan Long. Shortstop, J.J. Gould. At second base will be David Cronin. And at first base will be Carlos Castro. Playing center field today will be Jack Meggs. And left field will be Keith Grieshaber. And making his first start as an Otter will be Jake Gozzo, in right field. Nicely, the lefty will continue his warm-up tosses. Otters wearing their home whites, and the Lake Erie Crushers wearing their road purple uniforms with white letters and numbers and gray pants. Crushers purple and white colors this year, as well as a traditional gray uniform as well. Rizzitello throws down to Cronin at second base, and we will be underway shortly here from Bosse Field. Nicely, he's most effective with his movement on his fastball, but occasionally he'll throw a two-seam fastball as well as a curveball, so he looks to use his arsenal of pitches effectively this evening. Stepping to the plate would be the second baseman Aaron Hill, who was 0 for 2 yesterday with a strikeout, he reaching on an error, a walk, and a hit by pitch. Right-handed batter steps into the batter's box, and we are underway at Bosse Field. Nicely, from the right side of the rubber, kicks and fires. First pitch, a called strike on the outside corner. Knee-high to the right-handed batter Hill. We are underway here at Bosse Field. Great crowd tonight. Superhero night, a fan favorite, and one of my personal. Next pitch from nicely, curveball in there inside. Belt high for strike 2. Taking another deep breath on the mound. Nicely looks for the sign from Rizzitello. Kicks and fires the 0-2. It'll be a curveball inside of the knees. Count moves to 1-2. Be Aaron Hill. He's hitting 260 on the year. 44 hits, 7 home runs. The 1-2 from Nicely. Ground ball that will be through the middle, a base hit off the pitcher's mound. And the first hit of the game belongs to the Lake Erie Crushers. So a leadoff single for Aaron Hill starts the day for the Lake Erie Crushers, coming in with a record of 25-23. That'll bring up Cody Rizzitello making his first appearance in this series. Nicely takes a deep breath on the mound from the right side of the rubber. Runner on first, second batter of the game, no score. Nicely checks Hill at first. From the belt, kicks him, nope, now we'll throw over to first. Tag is not in time. Sunny skies, high of 91 degrees out there. A little humid, but a great day for baseball. Nicely, a long pause on the mound. Checks the runner at first, fires the first pitch. It's a bunt down the first base line. A good bunt. And advancing the runner to second is Rizzitello. Hill at second. Sack bunt is applied for 1 out. It'll bring up the shortstop, the switch hitting Emmanuel Marrero, hitting from the right side, trying to gain an advantage. Marrero was 0 for 3 last night with 2 strikeouts. Runner on second, 1 out, no score. Nicely kicks and fires the first pitch. Fly ball, and that'll drift foul down the first base line. Count moves to 0-1 to Emmanuel Marrero. Marrero hitting .279 on the year, and was unfortunately ejected out after last night's game in the 5th inning. 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts. 0-1 the count. Nicely checks Hill at second base. The 0-1. Fly ball, right center field. Going back is Gozzo. Locates the ball, makes the catch for out number 2. Throw over to third base. Not in time. Came in on a hop to Ryan Long. But Hill gets there safely, sliding to third. It's a fly out for Marrero for out number 2, but now a runner in scoring position 90 feet away from home for the Crushers. 2 away here in the top of the first. So F9 on the putout. It'll bring up John Cable, the designated hitter, who is also a switch hitter, batting from the left side. Aaron Hill at first. He singled to lead off the game. First pitch be a ball inside, belt high to the switch hitter batting on the left side, and John Cable. Count at 0-1, or 1-0, excuse me, with 2 outs. Cable was 1 for 4 last night. He singled and also had 2 strikeouts. Nicely from the belt, the 1-0. It's a breaking ball in the dirt. Count moves to 2-0, 2 outs. No score here in the top of the first. Nicely, the native of Grottos, Virginia. In his spare time, is a big fan of hunting. Cable, the switch hitter, batting on the left side. The 2-0 drops in there for a strike right down the heart of the plate. Off speed right there from Austin nicely. Count now at 2-1, 2 outs. Aaron Hill at third. Singled in the first at-bat of the game. Advanced to second on the sacrifice bunt by Rizzitello. And then on the flyout by Marrero, he advanced over to third. The 2-1. Right on the outside corner for strike 2. That was belt high. Count even at 2 with 2 outs here in the top of the first. Nicely needing one more strike to get out of the inning. The Grottos, Virginia native from the belt agrees with the sign from Rizzitello. The 2-2. Swing and a miss on a breaking ball. Nicely gets the Otters out of the inning for strikeout number 1 on the day. The Otters will be up to bat. We head to the bottom of the first. No score. 1 runner in Aaron Hill. Left on third. No score here from Bossy Field. You're listening to Evansville Otters Baseball on the Otters Digital Network and 91.5 WUEV.
The Hoosier Lottery began selling lottery tickets on October 13, 1989. Since then, the Hoosier Lottery has offered hundreds of different games, awarded prizes to millions of players, and given billions of dollars to the state of Indiana. The Hoosier Lottery's mission is to responsibly provide innovative and entertaining lottery games for the benefit of the citizens of Indiana. To learn more about the Hoosier Lottery, visit them online at HoosierLottery.com. The Hoosier Lottery, a proud supporter of Evansville Otters baseball.
Heritage Federal Credit Union has 7 full-service branches in both Evansville and Newburgh, serving more than 38,000 members. Membership is open to anyone who lives, works, worships, or attends school in Vanderburgh or Warwick County. Heritage Federal Credit Union offers mortgage and consumer loans, checking and savings accounts, as well as online banking for members. Heritage Federal Credit Union can be reached toll-free by phone at 1-800-858-1693. It can also be found online at hfcu.info.
The International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local Chapter 16, would like to take time to say, Go Otters! The IBEW Local 16's jurisdiction includes 13 counties in southwestern Indiana, as well as Wabash County in Illinois. Its members are divided into several categories of electrical work, including inside construction, maintenance electric, residential wiring, and sign classifications. More information on IBEW Local 16 can be found online at IBEW16.net.
Welcome back to Evansville Otters Baseball. Dave Nguyen here on the call. Beautiful sunny day at Bossy Field as Jared Koenig enters the mound for the Lake Erie Crushers. Left-handed pitcher is 2-0 with a 2.87 ERA. In his last 4 starts, he is 1-0 with 3 straight no decisions. To the plate will be David Cronin, who led off yesterday's game with a walk and a run scored. In his first 2 at-bats, he led off with a walk and a run scored, scoring the 2 of the first 3 runs for the Otters. Dave doing a good job at the plate this year. He's hitting .279. The Orland Park, Illinois native steps on the left side of the batter's box. Lefty-lefty matchup, the first pitch. As a fastball high in the zone. Count at 1-0 after the first pitch ball from Jared Koenig. Koenig wastes no time, kicks and fires the 1-0. It's a called strike on the breaking ball in the outside corner, knee high outside for Cronin. Count even at 1. to the suburb of Chicago native. Koenig waits for the sign from his catcher De La Rosa. They set up inside. This ball is ripped to the second baseman, but caught on his knees is Aaron Hill for out number one. A fly out at second base. That ball is ripped by David Cronin. Just a good job there by Hill to catch the ball for out number one. And it'll bring up Keith Grieshaber, who just earned his 50th hit yesterday, back in the first inning. Keith, the St. Louis native, standing on the right side of the batter's box. Righty-lefty matchup. First pitch from Koenig is ripped foul down the first base line. Count it 0-1 to Keith Grieshaber. Keith is hitting .269 on the year. 1 home run and 23 RBIs. 0-1 the count. No score. The second pitch. Breaking ball in the dirt. Count even at 1 to Keith Grieshaber. Keith was 1 for 4 yesterday with his single. He also struck out. Taking a deep breath on the mound is Koenig, the lefty. From the right side of the rubber, the 1-1. Drops in there for a ball at the knees. Very inside. Count at 2-1 with 1 out. Grieshaber started the year in 2019 in spring training with the River City Rascals. Did not make the roster. There was not a spot in the infield for him. Was able to make the infield roster for the Evansville Otters in 2019. He gets a called strike, breaking ball outside that's knee high. Count even at 2, 1 out. Once he was signed with the Otters, David Cronin unfortunately had a injury to start the season, so Cronin started at DH. The 2-2 to Grieshaber. Ground ball, and that'll be foul. It looks like it's going to be off the leg of Keith Grieshaber. He takes a knee in front of home plate. Hope Keith is all right. Steps up, looks like he'll be just fine. So once he made the infield roster, Cronin got healthy, returned to second base. And after Taylor Lane's departure when he signed with the Mets, Keith Grieshaber has made a home in the outfield. Majority of the outfield playing in left. Has played center a few times this year, but majority left field this season. Koenig from the right side of the rubber will step off the rubber and gather himself. 1 hit so far in today's matchup. We're in the bottom of the first, no score. Breaking ball in the dirt to Keith Grieshaber. Count now full to the St. Louis native. Grieshaber, 23 RBIs and a home run on the season. 50 hits. Looking for another one. Ground ball through the hole, a base hit on the left side of the infield. Past the diving third baseman, Burdick. Hit number 51 on the year for Keith Grieshaber. Gets the Otters' first hit with 1 out. Hard hit ball by Grieshaber. Was able to get past the diving Dale Burdick. And now Ryan Long will be at the plate. Long, the all-star, the starting Frontier League all-star third baseman. In a 7-0 win for the Frontier League over the Can-Am League. Long was able to notch a hit. First pitch to Ryan Long. Pop up. Right center field. And this ball will be caught by Rizzitello for out number 2. To the plate now will be Mike Rizzitello, who had 3 RBIs last night. He was 2 for 4 with 3 RBIs, an RBI single, and a 2-run RBI double. RBI single in the first. He's got a runner on first base and Keith Grieshaber. There's no score. Each team has a hit. Righty-lefty matchup. The first pitch from Koenig to Riz is outside for a ball. Count at 1-0. Rizzitello, the Long Island, New York native, will be the subject of our interview tomorrow on the Otters pregame warm-up. Koenig stares down Grieshaber at first. The 1-0 pitch. Be a called strike. Knee high. Outside for Riz. Count even at 1. 2 outs. Infield playing at normal depth for the Crushers. De La Rosa behind the plate. Veith at first. Swing and a miss. And actually a late foul tip from Mike Rizzitello. Moves the count to 1-2. Marrero at short. Dale Burdick at third. Racusin in left. Rizzitello in center. And Kraft in right. Koenig trying to get out of the inning for the Crushers. Grieshaber on first base. He's single. Rizzitello, the 1-2. Ground ball. That will be a good diving stop by Aaron Hill to get Rizzitello out for the 4-3 putout. Good defense there by the Crushers. As we are through 1, 3 up, 3 down. You're listening to Evansville Otters Baseball on the Otters Digital Network and 91.5 WUEV.
Why Old National Bank? Old National Bank began in 1834 with just one room and a passion for helping people prosper. Today, we are honored and grateful to be the financial partner for so many businesses, families, and individuals like you. From our commitment to safety and security to our promise of service that will exceed your expectations, we want to be your bank for life. Old National Bank, member FDIC.
This Evansville Otters broadcast is made possible through support from New Image Travel. New Image Travel provides motor coach charter service to the United States and Canada with pickup within a 150-mile radius of Evansville. A full list of New Image Travel's offerings can be found online at newimagecharter.com. New Image Travel can be reached toll-free at 1-800-432-6213. New Image Travel, a proud supporter of Evansville Otters baseball.
The Tri-State Area Marathon service stations are proud supporters of the Evansville Otters. Marathon has over 5,100 Marathon-branded stations nationwide, and a full list of area Marathon stations and a list of daily gas prices are available online at mymarathonstation.com. Marathon provides products which support commercial, industrial, and retail operations. Marathon's slogan is Fueling the American Spirit.
Welcome back to Evansville Otters Baseball. Dave Nguyen on the call. We're in the top of the second. No score between the Evansville Otters and the Lake Erie Crushers. Batters 5, 6, and 7 in the Crushers order. Starting with Zach Racusin, the left fielder. First pitch from Nicely is a strike inside. Count at 0-1. I want to welcome a special guest, the president of the Evansville Otters, Mr. John Stanley. John, thank you for joining me.
I'm happy to be here, Dave. It's a beautiful night. Got a lot of superheroes out here tonight, and hopefully we're going to see another good game.
Hopefully a super win for the Otters tonight.
A super win would be a nice term for that.
1-1 the count to Racusin. Next pitch is a swing and a drive that will be down the right field line, and that drifts foul near the 10th on the first base line. Count at 1-2. So, John, we are in the second half of the season. We started last night on a high note with an 8-0 shutout victory against these Lake Erie Crushers. I think what was important about last night's game is that the Otters offense was able to score early and often.
It's always good to get ahead in a game. It puts pressure on the other team, and we have a tendency, I like it, when we have a big crowd and we play well. I think everybody's really fired up about it, and it seemed to be the case last night. We got off to a good start, and we got some really good pitching from Welch last night, and the crowd was into it, and from the word go, we really had things going. I think it kept pressure on Lake Erie and resulted in us getting that big win.
The 1-2 pitch, ground ball foul down the third base line. 2 straight foul balls hit by Zach Racusin, nicely looking to get another third strike to get out number 1 here in the top of the second. Now, I think what also was important that it was a 2-0 lead after 2, and then a 7-0 lead after 3 gives your pitcher confidence going on the mound entering into the 4th inning. The 1-2 pitch from Nicely is a breaking ball in the dirt. Good block there by Riz to keep the ball in front of him. Count now even at 2.
I would think that any pitcher at any level and anything would like to be on the mound with the 7-0 lead in the 3rd inning. But yes, it does. It kind of loosens everybody up a little bit, and that was a great inning. It was fun. Everybody enjoyed it. And then later on, that home run by Carlos Castro was a monster bomb, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
Did you talk about that on air last night, about how far that ball went?
I did. It went about 340 feet to left center field. The payoff pitch, ground ball, fielded nicely by Long. Across to Castro at first. And I got to tell you, it's out number 1, but Brian Long in hot corners sometimes makes things so simple.
That was a short hop ball that could have easily gone off his glove. He really did make a nice play on it.
Mm-hmm.
Did Castro's ball go out of over the brick or not? Did anybody say that? I couldn't tell from where I was.
I'm not too sure. I know
not
it went,
either.
I know it went over the heads construction sign. Is the first pitch from Austin Nicely is a curveball right in there, belt high. Count now even at 1. No, it's a 0-1 count, excuse me, to Dale Burdick, the third baseman. Burdick entered last night's game, the 1-0, swing and a miss. Count now at 0-2 it should be. But Burdick came in after Emmanuel Marrero was thrown out of the game last night, arguing a balls and strikes call. I believe he struck out looking to Jake Welch and had some choice words for the umpire last night. Ground ball, another one hop to Long. Over to first. Bang, bang play for out number 2.
But we just saw 2 identical plays almost, didn't we?
Mm-hmm.
2 short hop balls picked up nicely by Long, and nice throw over to get the guys and keep us out of trouble. Nothing better than a 2-out, nobody on base start to any inning.
Absolutely. Now, from your perspective, I've said this on the broadcast, but in your opinion, what is it like to have Ryan Long in your organization, both as a player on and off the field? I'll wait for the response. The first pitch is a swing and a drive, and that will be caught. Well, I'll keep you on the broadcast as J.J. Gould shifted to his left and caught the fly out for out number 3, but I'll let you respond and converse with you, John, and I really appreciate you joining the broadcast.
Thank you. Can I go ahead and comment on that now, or are we still going?
Yes.
So the Ryan Young is one of the guys I've gotten to know pretty well in his time here, and he's very polite, he's very competitive, and he's a leader in the clubhouse. So, add all those pieces together, and he's exactly the kind of player that Andy McCauley likes to have on his team, and certainly his play has been very good, being an all-star this year, and deservedly so. So, to me, he's really the leader on offense for our team, and a lot of times he hits so well in the clutch that you come to expect it with one of the leading RBI leaders in the Frontier League. I don't know where he is right now, but he's number one in the league, and so you just keep getting attention, and we love having him here, but he keeps playing like that, and he may get an opportunity with an organization, and we'll see. Those things happen, and that you have just mixed emotions totally about the players that you come to get to know and enjoy.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree. From your perspective, I've noticed, from the Otters, of the 5 players called up, 4 of them have been pitchers. Is that a trend as far as the Frontier League getting more pitchers called up rather than position players? Or should signing with major league organizations?
I would say no. It just year to year, pitching. If there's a need, is it pitching or is it hitting in the colleges that come out in that given year? And this year, I would say that clearly that pitching is the need. You just take a look at Major League Baseball and do the trickle-down effect, and that the scouts are out looking for someone that would have an opportunity to throw. And certainly at the start of the year, when we lost our top guys, it was a pretty easy call for him because both of them had performed so well. So it's not surprising. Yeah.
And Patrick McGuff.
And McGuff, right. And then it's kept on going. I just think it's really great that our other guys have stepped up nicely, and knock on wood, didn't get off to a very good start, and now he's really picked it up. And Welsh has, been for his first year around, I think has done a nice job, giving us some really good starts. And so Beardsley, our guys that we thought may be 3, 4, and 5, Tyler Vale, they had to step up and take a bigger role, and they have really, under the old saying of next man up, have really done that.
0-1 the count to Castro, who swung and missed at a fastball that was inside chest high. Takes a next pitch, called strike. That's belt high, but was a bit inside. He's in the hole now at 0-2. Hit his 9th home run last night over the left field wall. The 0-2 pitch, ground ball foul down the third baseline. Count remains at 0-2. But Carlos, we have seen the power. But there are times where there are pitches that he swings and misses at that should have been a ball. I think it's over the course of the season, plate discipline, I believe, is important.
Yes, he's an aggressive player.
0-2
and,
is upstairs.
So with that, the home runs and the threats that you have, you're going to get strikeouts to go along with it. And I don't know that it's much different than the parallel of some of the top players in the major leagues that lead the league in home runs. They're also racking up a lot of strikeouts as well. It's just sort of the direction of the game right now, from my perspective. But I'm like you. I'm not a big. I wish there were less strikeouts. I like more action of moving players around and getting on base. But I don't believe that that's really the direction things are going right now with the record number of home runs that we're seeing in the major leagues. Players are really going for the fences, and whether that's a juice ball or a different approach toward hitting, I think is open to debate.
The 1-2 pitch to Castro is a called strike 3 on the outside corner for out number 1. A tough at-bat for Carlos, as he was 1 for 4 last night with the solo home run. Out number 1 on the backwards K, and we'll bring up Jack Meggs, who, believe it or not, leads these Otters in stolen bases with 13 on the year, playing center field today. He's played all 3 outfield positions, and I think we talk about versatility is very important, especially in baseball.
Meggs has been an asset for our team all year long. He's been able to do a lot of different things for us. He got a little speed out there, and he's getting on base and had some key hits for us.
First pitch to Meggs is in the dirt for a ball. Count at 1-0. Meggs hitting .252 on the year. 2 home runs, 14 RBIs, an on-base percentage of .328. Koenig, the left-handed pitcher, takes a deep breath on the mound. Kicks and fires the 1-0. That's a ball that went over the head of Jack Meggs. Sometimes you need to keep your head up and be aware.
What is Koenig's ERA? How did he started the game?
Is at a 2.87 ERA, but in his last 4 starts, he is 1-0 with 3 straight no decisions. All three of those were wins for the Crushers. 2 of those 3 wins were against Washington, and I believe 2 of those 3 wins were by a score of 2-1.
So he's pitched very well in his last few games. He looks like that last pitch didn't look like much anything, but.
Ooh. Now, 3-0 count, it's okay to take a strike. It was one of those 50-50 balls near the outside, the white paint of the batter's box, near the outside part of the plate. Good job by Meggs to take a strike. Here's the 3-1 with 1 out. Swing and a miss on a breaking ball there from Koenig. Count now full at 3-2.
A little bit ahead of that one, wasn't he?
Just a bit. I think when you start out 3-0, then you know that you're going to have to throw a strike or else it's a walk. And then from there, you could settle down. But it's important to throw another strike. I think that's the effectiveness of a breaking ball, especially the slider. The payoff pitch to Meggs. Swing and a miss and another breaking ball right there. Swing and a miss for back-to-back strikeouts for Koenig. There's 2 away. here in the bottom of the second.
You must have confidence in that breaking ball to throw 2 straight breaking balls with a 3-run count. And they were both really solid. Meggs did not chase anything. Those are just nice pitches.
And here's our all-star catcher playing the designated hitter spot today, and Rob Calabrese played for the Augusta Green Jackets of the San Francisco Giants organization last year and has made a nice home here in Evansville, hitting the ball very well. The right-handed batter, first pitch to Calabrese. Called strike, knee high on the outside corner, counted 0-1. Right-handed batter, left-handed pitcher matchup. A nice sunny day, high of 91 degrees at Bosse Field. And I think from our perspective, we can feel the humidity, John.
It's got, well, by comparison to last night, it's really picked up in humidity, and I think we're going to get a little of that. But right now, we should look out there and appreciate the sunshine, because I'm not sure with that the tropical storm or the hurricane down in the New Orleans area and that front heading our way. We have games next week, and the fans should know that we will. Even with rains come, our field holds a lot of water, and we generally play. And so, if it stops raining any time, we will play. And along with that cools down those temperatures. So actually, if we're playing and it's not raining, it feels pretty good out here.
The 1-2 to Calabrese, right in there, called strike, belt high for strike number 3. Koenig retires the side with 3 straight strikeouts, 2 of which were strikeouts looking. Now, I know there are a handful of promotions coming out in the second half of the Otters season. Care to tell the fans of what's expected? I know there are a handful of fireworks nights throughout the year.
Yes, we have. And our fans should all know that it's very easy to go find our promotion schedule by going to the website and just pulling up promotions to see it on there. But we will be having a lot of things going on this week. For example, on Thursday night, we're having German Heritage Night, and goes along with the $2 beer. It's always fun.
Absolutely.
So that Thursday night combined with that should be a fun night. And upcoming events, we're going to have a 90s night that we just started to publicize.
That's right.
I think that'll be a big crowd. They're going to have like slime for the kids.
Oh, really?
Back from those days.
And the Nickelodeon, right?
Everybody's talking about who's going to get slimed and so on and so on. But the 90s music and has seemed to have a lot of enthusiasm.
And there's a music video that I decided to participate in as well.
Okay. Well, maybe that's going to be the highlight then. So, but we've Courtney Johnson, the executive director of Young and Established, has been really an asset for the Evansville Otters, and working with his organization to have some people and some nights out here, and we welcomed that assistance. I think he's just does a wonderful job, and I'm sure that we're going to have a big crowd that night. So we have the 90s night coming up. Of course, we still have Star Wars in August, and the E night, which is a wonderful night. If you have a chance to come out for that one, I've
heard that night is awesome.
It's really fun, and so we've had, this will be the 3rd year of doing it, and the E is the brand for the Evansville, Indiana Chamber, and so I believe that our event probably is the most highly attended event of any that they have in the year, and people have really enjoyed it, and got good food and nice night and a big crowd. It adds a lot of enthusiasm, just like it was last night. We had over 4,000 people here last night.
4,096, I believe.
Yeah, it was a big crowd. It was a big crowd, and they were upbeat, and it was just a lot of fun. So, I think you look at that promotion schedule, and we'll have, probably we have something going on almost every night, but I would point out there's some of those where people and young people and pick your poison about what you like, or come to all of them. It's easy to get a small package if you want to. Pick your games and buy tickets for them, and you've got your own seats reserved for you, and enjoy yourself. A lot of people do that as well.
Absolutely. Just letting the audience know we're in the top of the 3rd inning. Dave Nguyen and my special guest, President of the Evansville Otters, and John Stanley joining me on the broadcast. The 2-1 pitch to Brian De La Rosa is a foul tip into the glove of Mike Rizzitello. Count even at 2. Now, I noticed you weren't paying attention to last night's game. De La Rosa, the catcher for the Crushers, threw out one of the Otters from his knees down at second base.
I saw that. I was sitting down there. I thought we came over the bench. I looked at him and go, that was a heck of a throw, and it sure was. From the knees, right on the numbers, right on the bag, right to the right side of the bag, and just right into the glove, and slid right into it. You couldn't have made a better throw. It was just perfect.
We got a full count to De La Rosa. Rizzitello sets up inside. The payoff pitch from Nicely. Ground ball to long, and that will be ruled foul down the third base line. Teetering fair or foul.
It was teetering fair or foul. I'm not sure that guy could make.
Amazon Prime Day starts Monday.
Right. Now, last night it was a little hard because the umpire last night in Purnell was having a lot of delayed strike calls. The 3-2 upstairs for ball 4 to De La Rosa to start the top of the third for the Crushers. Sometimes the delayed calls, you want to wait for it, and you don't know if it's, especially if it's a 50-50 ball, whether it's on the inside or outside corner, you want to make sure that it's the right call and not to get the call wrong on the air.
Turned out to be a double play, didn't it? I mean, it's a strikeout and then throw out.
That's right.
Second, too.
So to bring up the 9-hole hitter, and Stephen Kraft playing right field today. He was 1 for 2 yesterday with a single and 2 walks. First pitch from Nicely's in the dirt for a ball. Count at 1-0. 9-hole hitter, and then we'll get to the top of the order in Aaron Hill. Runner on first, no score. We're in the top of the third. A total of 2 hits in this ball game, 1 for the Otters and 1 for the Crushers. Nicely fires the 1-0. It's a breaking ball in the dirt. Good block there by Rizzitello. Moves the count to 2-0. I think going into this season, one of the important things was, you don't see it a lot in the Frontier League, but heading into this season, there were 12 guys returning for the Otters from last year's roster, and I think that just makes the team and the camaraderie a little bit more comfortable because they're familiar with each other.
It does, and stability and knowing what a lot of your players are capable of doing, and you can work with that a little bit better than having all new guys when you're experimenting, particularly at the start of the season. So having a base like that, I think, gives any team an advantage to start with.
So there's a runner on first in De La Rosa who walked moments ago. It's a 3-0 count to Stephen Kraft. No outs here in the top of the third. The 3-0 from Nicely is low and away for ball 4. And speaking of veteran and leadership, both Rizzitello and Nicely were on the team last year. Nicely made 20 starts for the Otters. Having a bit of trouble right now, but I think it's a good job there by Mike Rizzitello to walk out to his veteran pitcher to kind of talk things over. I think he just shows the leadership from the catcher position.
Right, and it walked that guy on that 3-2 count, and it was 4 straight balls, so he needs to get something going. It gets to be a pretty important part of the game here early on with 2 on and no one out. And if we can limit damage, get a double play, or at least get an out here without much happening. Where are they in their order right now?
We are now at the top of the order, and Hill has the only hit of the game for the Crushers, the first hit of today's contest. Singled back in the first. Runners on first and second for Lake Erie. Called strike drops in there for the count at 0-1.
So those were their 8-9 hitters that we just walked. Yeah,
correct.
That's never promising.
So J.J. Gould will shift to his left at shortstop. Shifting to his right is David Cronin, the second baseman. Both men playing at double play depth. Ryan Long plays on the edge of the infield grass at third. Playing behind the first base bag is Carlos Castro. The 0-1 to Hill. Fly ball, and that drifts foul down the first base line. Count now moves quickly to 0-2 to Aaron Hill.
It's a tough play because this Aaron Hill got some speed, and Long has to play in a little bit at third, and so all kinds of bad things potential can happen. But now with an 0-2 count, he can drop back a little bit and see what happens.
0-2 the count to the leadoff batter in Aaron Hill. He's 1 for 1 today, the only Crushers hit. The 0-2 pitch will be a foul ball behind home plate into the net. Count remains at 0-2. I think that's another thing that's being brought up around baseball in the major leagues. Some have suggested whether you should have the net, going from first base to third base. What is your opinion on that?
But you always want to have safety. And there is a danger. Potentially, in my time here, I've really never seen that many close calls, but it certainly can happen. I think the objections, let's see what happens on this 0-2 pitch here.
Ground ball to Long. Good diving stop. Taps third base for one. To second. There's an overthrow into the infield. Advancing to third will be De La Rosa. That'll be Stephen Kraft. De La Rosa tagged out at third on the unassisted out. So it'll be an error on Ryan Long.
Just rested a little bit, but he made one heck of a pickup on that ball. That ball was a line shot. He knocked it down and had to pick it back up again and then tag the base with the ball and then still try to get the guy at second, because I don't think he had a chance at first base over there at that point, with
Hill speed.
With Hill speed. And so it was reasonable, and I don't think anybody was there to catch the ball when he threw it. It was part of the issue.
So now runners on the corners, one out. Ryan Long tried to convert a double play. Instead, it will be a throwing error into right field. Went past the glove of David Cronin. Ground ball up the middle. This could be two. The second for one. The first. Safe. So good flip by Cronin to get the force out at second. But the run comes home from Stephen Kraft. It is a 1-0 Crushers lead, their first lead in the series. So Hill hit into a fielder's choice. He's out at second on the 4-6 out from Cronin to Gould. And at first, I believe, on a reaching first base safely is Rizzitello.
Yeah, fielder's choice. Boy, that was a tailor-made double play. I'm surprised he beat that out. He must have had some speed going down there, because it looked like we turned it pretty well, and it was bang-bang at first. I thought that call could have gone either way.
So Rizzitello still without a hit on the year. That is, he reaches base for the first time in this series. 1-0 Crushers. It'll bring up the third batter in Marrero, the shortstop, who was 0 for 3 last night. First pitch is a strike. Next one, a breaking ball in the dirt for a ball. Count even at 1. There's 2 outs. Crushers take the lead on a fielder's choice by Rizzitello, the first time he's appeared in this series. Nicely stares down Rizzitello at first, the 1-1. Ground ball to Cronin. Throws it over to to first in time for the 4-3 putout. Crushers take an early 1-0 lead. We'll head to a commercial break. Dave Nguyen and John Stanley, the president of the Otters, on the call right here in 91.5 WUEV and the Otters Digital Network.
SRG Global, a Guardian company, would like to wish the Evansville Otters the best of luck in today's contest. Founded in 1932, SRG Global is one of the world's largest manufacturers of chrome-plated plastic parts for the automotive, commercial truck, and household appliance industry. Located locally at 601 North Congress Avenue in Evansville, SRG Global can be found online at srgglobal.com. They can also be reached in Evansville by phone at 812-477-6151.
The Tin Fish Restaurant is located at 707 State Street in Newburgh, Indiana. Independently owned and operated, the Tin Fish menu featured salads and sandwiches, as well as seafood platters and combos, and seafood burritos, tacos, and burgers. The Tin Fish Restaurant is open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. They can be reached by phone at 812-490-7000. Visit them online at tinfishnewburgh.com. The Tin Fish Restaurant, a proud supporter of Evansville Otters baseball.
The Evansville Otters would like to thank Sinorama Evansville for their support this season. Sinorama Evansville is a multi-application supplier of custom-made signs, banners, and decals in the tri-state. Located at 1300 North Royal Avenue in Evansville, Sinorama is open 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. They can be reached by phone at 812-477-7763 and can be found online at sinorama.com/in-Evansville. Sinorama Evansville, a proud supporter of Evansville Otters baseball.
You're listening to exclusive coverage of Evansville Otters baseball on 91.5 FM WUEV Evansville.
Welcome back to Evansville Otters baseball. Dave Nguyen and president of the Otters, John Stanley, on the call, my special guest for today. Crushers lead this one 1-0 on an RBI by Rizzitello. Gets the Crushers on the board for the first time in this series. The new Otter and Jake Gozzo playing right field today from Oklahoma Baptist University. The left-handed or the right-handed batter steps into the batter's box, swing and a miss from Gozzo, count at 0-1. Koenig, the left-handed pitcher, kicks and fires the 0-1. Will be a ball up high. Koenig standing on the left side of the rubber. Count now even at 1. No outs here in the bottom of the third. Koenig takes a deep breath on the mound. Kicks and fires the pitch. That'll be a low ball in the dirt. Count moves to 2-1 with no outs. It'll be Gozzo, Gould, and then the top of the order for Cronin. So batters 8, 9, and 1 in the Otters order. Koenig takes another deep breath. The 2-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. Fastball right there. Count even at 2. And each pitch that Koenig has thrown has all been inside to the 6'6" batter, or 6'6" batter, in Gozzo.
He's a good-sized boy, isn't he?
I think so. The 2-2 is a drop third strike. Throw down to first. He's safe. So the strikeout will count. But because it was a drop third strike, the batter in Gozzo needs to run down to first base, and De La Rosa needs to make sure to get the out in time. So because De La Rosa couldn't get the throw down to Veith at first in time, it would be a strikeout and ruled a wild pitch. So the Otters, in a way, catch a break here in the bottom of the third with J.J. Gould to the plate. He had a 2-run RBI single yesterday in the 5-run, 10-man third inning in yesterday's 8-0 shutout victory for the Otters. First pitch to J.J. is a ball upstairs near his chest. Count at 1-0 to the right-handed batter against the left-handed pitcher in Koenig. Over the weekend before the All-Star break, J.J. Gould was able to hit not only his first home run, but his first 2 home runs of the season, both to left field, 350 feet at River City, the 1-0. Called a strike inside, belt high. Count even at 1 to the shortstop, J.J. Gould, who now has 2 home runs on the year, both of them 2-run shots.
Koenig's got pretty good control. It doesn't look like he's probably walked very many guys this year. Would that be correct or not?
I think so.
Yeah, let's see.
The 1-1 be a breaking ball in the dirt. Count moves to 2-1 to J.J. Gould. And if I were to look up that stat for you, John, momentarily.
Be happy to see that I've jinxed him. I mean, throws next 2 balls to get us to the top of the order. Huh?
2-1 the count to J.J. Gould, who's hitting .204 on the year. 14 RBIs. The 2-1 swing and a miss. It's that high fastball that hitters like to swing at.
I believe that would have been the 3-1 at that point on that ball. It's hard to lay off of, though.
So Koenig 2-0 with a 2.87 ERA, 8 starts and 9 appearances, 47 innings pitched coming into today's start. Only has given up 43 hits, 23 runs, only 17 walks. With a deep breath on the mound, he fires the 2-2. Swing and a miss. Another strikeout on a high fastball for J.J. Gould. It's out number 1. Runner at first. And Gozzo, there are 2 strikeouts credited to Koenig. But because of the drop third strike rule, Gozzo, the batter, ran down to first. And the throw from the catcher De La Rosa to Veith at first was not in time. So the Otters are able to catch a break so far. They need to take advantage of it. We go back to the top of the order and David Cronin.
We don't want this to happen, but it'd be one of those rare occasions when he could have 4 strikeouts in an inning.
Actually, I just saw that on YouTube. A friend of mine and Pat McCarthy, first pitch to Cronin, drops in there for a breaking ball, a called strike inside.
This guy's really pitching well right now.
Yes, he is. Count at 0-1. So my buddy Pat McCarthy is the play-by-play guy for the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs in the Philadelphia Phillies organization, and there was actually 4 strikeouts in the inning because of the drop third strike rule. It occurred sometime last week. 0-1. going down to second base.
Well, that could have
advancing is Gozzo.
On it, that would have been strike 3. We would have had our second guy on base with a strikeout and really gone for the record with potential of 5.
Maybe. So Cronin with good plate discipline. It's a wild pitch by Koenig. Count even at 1 out. Now a runner in scoring position for David Cronin.
Was Cronin the one that hit the line shot to second in the first inning? He hit the ball really hard, or was he lead off, or was that?
That was in the third inning, the last at bat, I believe. Oh yes, first at bat of the day. Yes, you're right. My apologies, John. Next pitch to Cronin is inside, belt high, a little bit inside. It's going to be a ball. Count at 2-1 with 1 out. Runner in scoring position in Jake Gozzo, who advanced to first after the drop third strike call. 2-1 the count, 1 out. Lefty-lefty matchup. Koenig checks Gozzo at second base, the 2-1. That drops in there, this time for a ball. Good breaking movement there by Koenig.
He didn't like that call. He didn't like that call, did he?
No, I don't think so.
In a little bit.
He threw
maybe with good reason.
Yeah, I think he threw a 50-50 ball. It's an off-speed pitch. It was right near the inside part of the home plate on the right side. Cronin, the left-handed batter. Koenig, the left-handed pitcher. 3-1 the count, 1 out. Runner in scoring position for the Otters at second. The 3-1 to Cronin. Outside for ball 4.
Nice at bat.
So Cronin, the Otters are successful when Cronin sets the tone when he gets on base early and often. And that clearly showed in last night's game. He led off the first inning with a walk, scored on the Rizzitello RBI single. Then he led off the third with a walk and scored on the Mike Rizzitello RBI double. Keith Grieshaber to the plate. He has the only Otters hit in this game back in the first. He singled. Grieshaber, right-handed batter, the left-handed pitcher, and Jared Koenig on the mound for the Crushers. Runners in scoring position for the Otters. At second, there's also a runner at first in David Cronin. 1-0 Crushers. Keith Grieshaber with an opportunity here. His pitch is fouled down the first base line. Veith chasing it down, and it will take a lucky bounce foul over the fence down the first base line near the Otters bullpen. Count at 0-1 to Grieshaber, and Veith got there quickly in time. Luckily for the Otters, the ball bounced on the foul territory on the fence down there on the first base line. 0-1 the count. Gozzo at second base. Cronin at first. 1-0 Crushers after the RBI by Rizzitello back in the top of the third. We're in the bottom of the third. 0-1 count to the St. Louis native in Keith Grieshaber. Righty-lefty matchup. Koenig checks the runner at second base. The 0-1. Ground ball to third.
Yes,
and that will be a base hit.
Send him.
And he's not going to send him because there's a strong throw from the left fielder, Racusin. So a good call there by manager Andy McCauley standing at third base. But the bases are now loaded for the Otters with 1 out. And we couldn't think of a better guy to hit in this situation than Ryan Long with the bases loaded and 1 out.
I think that's the one reason that Andy didn't send him, because that throw was up the line a little bit. May or may not have scored on it. But with 1 out, and I don't think our guy probably has at 6'6" is going to have the speed to go. If Cronin would have been there, we probably would have. So now we're back again to Ryan Long in a clutch situation. Let's see if he can deliver here.
The Crandall, Texas native stands on the left side of the batter's box. Lefty-lefty matchup, bases juiced for the Otters. Koenig kicks and fires the first pitch. It's a called strike outside for Ryan Long. Doesn't like to swing at that pitch. And the good thing about Ryan Long is, I don't know if a lot of people can pick up, he comes to every at-bat with an approach. He's only going to swing at a pitch he wants to hit at. If it's 2 inside or 2 outside, he's not going to swing. Just like that pitch right there, even though it was called for a strike, it was 2 outside for him. 0-1 to Long. Swing and a miss. Similar location, may have been towards the plate a little bit more. Good enough to get his barrel on the ball, but unfortunately he was swinging and a miss for strike 2.
What did Ryan Long do his first time up?
Ryan Long flew out to center field. It was shallow. So 0-2 the count. Long 0 for 1 today, but with a golden opportunity to give the Otters at least one run on the board.
It's a tough situation for him at 0-2 right now. Left against the left-handed matchup.
The 0-2 to Long. And Long thought about swinging his bat around, then holds his bat back. It's a ball upstairs that's high and away. Count at 1-2 to the man who leads the Frontier League in RBIs with 41 and is tied for first in home runs with his teammate Carlos Castro, as well as Dash Winningham of the Joliet Slammers. Lefty-lefty matchup, Koenig from the left side of the rubber. Checks the runner, Cronin in second base. The 1-2, swing and a miss, off-speed pitch there, and that'll be strike number 3, out number 2 in the inning. Long wishing he could have that pitch back. I think Long was expecting a fastball, and Koenig came in there with an off-speed pitch for strike number 3, out number 2.
That breaking ball's been his go-to two-strike pitch a lot of times tonight, so we'll see if we can convert with 2 outs.
Rizzitello to the plate. He had 3 RBIs last night. Right-handed batter, left-handed pitcher matchup. The man from Long Island, New York, looking to capitalize for the Otters. First pitch will be a ball upstairs. Count at 1-0. Riz will be batting in the cleanup spot for the 5th straight game. Talking to him earlier, we'll hear his interview tomorrow. He embraces the fact that the coaching staff for the Otters trusts him and his ability to hit well for the Otters and this batting 4th in the lineup. The 1-0 to Riz. Breaking ball inside, knee high. Count moves to 2-0 with 2 outs. Rizzitello so far showing plate discipline. The Long Island native is New York tough, playing catcher today. I don't know if you know this, John, but Rizzitello does not have his college degree. Went to Dowling College, not far from his hometown in Long Island. The 2-0, that'll be fouled down the right field line, out of play. Count moves to 2-0. So unfortunately, in his senior year at Dowling, the school ended up closing because it went bankrupt, unfortunately. So Rizzitello, when his baseball career is finished, needs to take a couple more classes that are only offered in the spring to get his credits. He is a graphics design major, but unfortunately does not have his college degree.
Well, he has a lot of good baseball instincts, and I'm sure he'll go back and be able to comfortably get that degree when he chooses to finish his baseball career.
Right.
And with his personality and his leadership skills, he will be a sought-after potential employee for a lot of companies.
Oh, I'm sure. Swing and a miss for Rizzitello on a breaking ball. Count even at 2 with 2 outs. Bases loaded for the Otters. They're down 1-0. Koenig, the left-handed pitcher, trying to get the Crushers out of a jam. The 2-2 to Riz. Breaking ball in the dirt will be called a ball. That was a close call right there.
They've all been close in this at-bat, every pitch. And so here we go. Everybody's going to take off on this pitch and see what happens.
3-2 count, bases loaded for the Otters. Rizzitello to the plate. Otters down 1-0. The payoff pitch will be a fly ball down the right field line. Goes out of play. Count remains at 3-2. And with the speed of Cronin and Grieshaber, they were ready to get home.
Yeah, they're going to catch our guy at third.
So Gozzo started off the inning, advancing to first after the drop third strike. Throw to first from De La Rosa to Veith was not in time. Cronin walked and Grieshaber singled. Ryan Long struck out with the bases loaded, 1 out. Rizzitello here with the golden opportunity. The payoff pitch, swing, and that'll be a fly ball to right field.
Too bad. That's right.
It'll be caught by Kraft, and the Otters are unable to score with the bases loaded as we head to the top of the 4th. That was an opportunity for the Otters. Hopefully it doesn't come back to bite them.
Could have used that fly ball a batter earlier.
We'll head to the top of the 4th inning. Otters down 1-0. here on the Otters Digital Network and 91.5 WUEV.
Injuries are inevitable. It doesn't matter if you're playing baseball, walking the dog, or falling from a ladder. Injuries happen. When they do, Tri-State Orthopedics offers treatment for sprains, strains, and fractures by medical specialists. Tri-State Orthopedics is located at 225 Cross Lake Drive in Evansville, just north of the Lloyd and I-164. Tri-State Orthopedics can be reached by phone at 812-477-1558. Its urgent care line is 812-474-OUCH. Tri-State Orthopedics, a proud supporter of Evansville Otters baseball.
Since 1994, Slays Restoration has been assisting Tri-State residents clean up and restore their properties after disasters of all kinds. Located at 2121 Cotter Avenue in Evansville, Slays Restoration offers assistance for water damage, fire and smoke damage, mold and biohazard mitigation, complete reconstruction, and much more. Slays Restoration can be reached toll-free 24 hours a day at 1-888-776-8555. It can also be found online at slaysrestoration.com.
The Evansville Otters would like to thank the Evansville Courier and Press for their support and coverage of Otters baseball. The Evansville Courier and Press provides news, sports, and weather coverage to the Tri-State, both in a print and online edition. The Evansville Courier and Press can be found online at courierandpress.com, as well as on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Pinterest. The Evansville Courier and Press, a member of the Journal Media Group.
Welcome back to Evansville Otters Baseball. Dave Nguyen and my special guest, the president of the Evansville Otters, John Stanley, on the call. Otters down 1-0. We're in the top of the fourth. First pitch to John Cable will be a foul ball down the right field line. Count at 0-1. In the bottom of the third, the Otters had the bases loaded and with one out. Ryan Long stepped to the plate, struck out for out number 2. The 0-1 pitch is a swing and a drive to center field. Going back is Meggs. And he makes the catch near the warning track for out number 1 here in the top of the fourth. Good job there by Meggs to track the ball. Took a few steps back, and thankfully his sunglasses out there in center field. The sun may have been in his eyes.
That's what I think, too, because he came in a couple steps and then had to adjust and go back, but got there in plenty of time.
So out number 1, and to finish off my thought, Brian Long struck out with the bases loaded with 2 outs for the Otters, and Mike Rizzitello flied out to right. A opportunity that the Otters couldn't capitalize on back in the bottom of the third. Ground ball, backhand stop by Long. Throws over to first. Made that play look easy on the 5-3. Put out 1 pitch, second out of the inning.
You can definitely make the case that we could be ahead 1-0 right now.
Yes. Or 2-0.
Or 2-0.
Or 2-1, I should say. We'll bring up Dale Burdick, who was 0 for 2 yesterday with a strikeout, playing third base today. Burdick entered last night's game after Marrero, the shortstop, was thrown out in the 5th. First pitch to Burdick, swing and a miss. A high fastball from Austin Nicely. Count at 0-1 on the swing and a miss from Burdick. Burdick hitting .241 on the year with 18 RBIs and 37 hits. The 0-1. Breaking ball in the dirt. Count even at 1 with 2 outs. We had a great crowd last night to start the second half of the year. A crowd of 4,096 people, as it was also Habitat for Humanity night.
Yes, we have a nice crowd again tonight. People enjoying themselves out here, and a lot of young people wearing superhero outfits.
As it is superhero night. 1-2 the count, and I think I wanted to emphasize for last night's broadcast, the 1-2 to Burdick. There'll be a foul ball down the right field line. Count remains at 1-2. So last night was Habitat for Humanity night, and earlier in the month, we were introduced to the house that the Otters built, as the Otters, from your leadership as well as Mr. Bussing, have been very involved in the Evansville community. The 1-2 will be a pitch inside, a little high from Nicely. Count even at 2 with 2 outs.
The not-for-profit community involvement is very important to the Otters, and particularly in the 25th anniversary, we've upped the ante, and we have, 20-plus not-for-profits that we've been working with this year to help them in their organizations, and in turn, they've helped bring people to the game, so it's been a successful venture for everyone, and gotten to know a lot of new people and people that I've known for a long time to spend some more time with.
3-2 pitch is drilled over the head of Ryan Long. That'll be a base hit for Dale Burdick. He was 0 for 1 heading into this at-bat. So with 2 outs, Burdick hits a single and keeps this inning alive for the Crushers. Lake Erie leads Evansville by a score of 1-0 here in the top of the 4th. That 1 run came back in the 3rd inning when 5 men were sent to the plate. Crushers were able to capitalize, and they currently have their first lead of the series. Otters won last night's Game 1 on an 8-0 shutout victory. Jake Veith, the first baseman, steps to the plate with 2 outs. Lefty-lefty matchup. The first pitch is a breaking ball in the dirt. Count at 1-0 with 2 outs. Sun begins to set here in Evansville.
It's funny. I sit up here in this press box for all those games, and you have a sunny evening like that. You just feel like I could go out there and take pictures because it's just picture-perfect beauty. Our field looks wonderful. The signage, the facility is all really great, attractive at this point in time. And I don't think it's just me. We have people out here say all the time, your field is in great condition, and place just looks great.
I think a lot of credit to the groundskeeping staff, and Lance, I believe his name is correct.
Yes, Lance Adler. He does a fine job. He's done it for years for us, and you look out there, and it just looks just picture perfect right now.
2-0 from Nicely, swing and a miss on a good breaking ball there for strike 1.
That guy likes to swing like Carlos.
Just a bit. So runner on first, Burdick with a 2-out single. John Cable started the inning with a fly out to center field. Racusin with a ground out from Ryan Long. The 4th batter of the inning right now in Jake Veith. Rests the bat on his shoulder. The 2-1, swing and a drive. That will be foul down the right field line. Count even at 2 with 2 outs. I think what I also respect about the ballpark, not only because of its history, but there are a handful of baseball parks in the Frontier League who have short porches. Now, that could be beneficial, but I think if these players are trying to advance to Major League affiliated baseball, they want to have, I guess, some familiarity hitting at a Major League style ballpark.
Well, that they have here. You've got to pop that ball if you want to hit a home run in Bossy Field.
That's right. 335 down the lines in right and left. Dead center 400. The 2-2 runner goes, swing and a miss. Rizzitello will tag him out for a strikeout to end the inning.
That guy's going to have to go put his shoes back on because he was swinging out of his shoes every time he swung that bat in that at bat.
Well,
all
John,
3 of them. So yeah,
absolutely. Well, John Stanley, president of the Evansville Otters, thank you so much for joining me on the broadcast. We'll head to the bottom of the 4th, and hopefully the Otters can tie this game up at 1. They're currently down 1-0 here on Evansville Otters Baseball, the Otters Digital Network, and 91.5 WUEV.
Why Old National Bank? Old National Bank began in 1834 with just 1 room and a passion for helping people prosper. Today, we are honored and grateful to be the financial partner for so many businesses, families, and individuals like you. From our commitment to safety and security to our promise of service that will exceed your expectations, we want to be your bank for life. Old National Bank, member FDIC.
The Pizza Brick Road always goes to Tyroni's. I'm in the mood for pizza and I'm ready to go. The Pizza Brick Road goes to Tyroni's. So follow me down the Pizza Brick Road. Road down to Tyroni's. The Pizza Brick Road. The Pizza Brick Road always goes to Tyroni's.
No matter how large or small your digging project may be, no matter how urban or rural, you must always call 811 before any digging project. 811 is our national one-call number, alerting your local utility companies to come out and mark any lines they have near your dig site. So before you do this or this, Make sure you do this. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811. Brought to you by Indiana 811.
Welcome back to Evansville Otters baseball. Dave Nguyen on the call. Otters down 1-0. We head to the bottom of the fourth. In the bottom of the third, the Otters had the bases loaded with 1 out and failed to score. I'm joined by a very special guest, Mr. Jim Casey, who is a friend of President of the Evansville Otters and John Stanley. Jim, thank you for joining me.
Well, excited to be here. Thank you for the opportunity. Had a chance to do this 2 years ago and thoroughly enjoyed it with one of your predecessors.
I believe his name was Lucas, if I'm not mistaken. Carlos Castro to the plate. He hit his 9th home run last night on a solo shot to left field. The native of the Dominican Republic. First pitch is ripped up the middle. That's a base hit for the Dominican Republic native. Leads the Otters with 57 hits, make that 58 on the year. Carlos leads off this inning with a single. It'll bring up Jack Meggs, the Sammamish, Washington native. Meggs is 0 for 1 today with a strikeout swinging back in the second. Lefty-lefty matchup is Koenig on the mound. Came into this game with a 2-0 record and a 2.87 ERA.
You mentioned this young man's from Washington. I'd note the interesting, just the background on all the kind of diversity among the roster. You've got some kids. I think you have a recent addition to the roster who just graduated from college down in Mississippi, I think.
Yes.
And this young man with the University of Washington.
Under his father. His father was his head coach.
Oh, was he?
Yes.
Okay. Interesting.
It'll be a strike to Jack Meggs. Count at 0-1. So Sammamish is located outside of Seattle and played for his father. I think at times it might be a little bit tough because I don't know if you have any sons, but
I do, too.
Okay, so I'm sure you're hard on them, wanting them to be successful, whether it's academics or athletics. And if your dad is your coach, you just want the best out of him, so in a way you don't want to show favoritism. There's a pop fly in the infield. Waving off everyone is the shortstop Marrero. He makes the catch for out number 1.
Well, he must have done well enough because he was drafted by the Oakland Athletics in the 10th round of the 2017 draft. So it obviously performed pretty well in college for his dad.
Yes. Had a pleasure to meet both his mom and dad. His mother is a big fan of the color purple. Rob Calabrese to the plate. One of 3 All-Stars, or one of 4 All-Stars for the Otters. Calabrese hit a solo home run yesterday. He was 2 for 4. Today he is 0 for 1 with a strikeout looking back in the second. 1 out, runner on first and Castro. Righty-lefty matchup. First pitch to the right-handed batter, and Calabrese is a breaking ball in the dirt for a ball. Played in the San Francisco Giants organization last year with the Augusta Green Jackets. Has made a home here in Evansville so far.
Looks like this young man grew up on Staten Island in New York.
Yep.
So, again, you've got people young men from all over the country playing on this team. Went to college at Illinois Chicago campus, University of Illinois Chicago.
Yep. Teammates with leadoff batter and second baseman David Cronin. They won the Horizon League Championship, I believe, in 2017.
Interesting coincidence. He was drafted in the 10th round by the Giants in the 2017 draft. So you've got 2 guys in your batting order in a row that were drafted in the 10th round 2 years ago.
The 1-1 is a breaking ball in the dirt. Count moves to 2-1 to Calabrese, right-handed batter against the left-handed pitcher, and Jared Koenig. Runner on first and Carlos Castro. He singled to begin this inning. We're in the bottom of the fourth. 1-0 Crushers. From the left side of the rubber, Koenig takes a deep breath. Fires the 2-1. That'll be a foul ball behind home plate. Evens the count at 2. Now, Jim, I understand you are a baseball fan. You wear your Chicago Cubs hat proudly. And I need to tell you, I went to Wrigley Field for the first time ever on a road trip to Schaumburg. I got to say it was wonderful.
Oh, yeah. It's kind of mecca among ballparks. We've got the 3rd oldest, I think, here in Evansville, which is tremendous. And this facility reminds me a lot of Wrigley Field. I grew up in Lake County, Indiana, so up by Chicago. And you could take the South Shore into the Cubs games.
Oh, really?
South Shore downtown, then the Red Line out to the Addison stop. But nothing like walking up the walkway and one of the aisles and walking into the, especially the day game, to see the Ivy and the sun shining.
Yes. Now, I was fortunate because the Otters had a night game that night. The Cubs had a day game. And being from Philadelphia, I'll wait because there's a 3-2 count to Calabrese. The lefty Koenig takes a deep breath, checks Castro at first, kicks and fires. The payoff pitch will be a foul ball behind home plate once more. Count remains at 3-2. But Cole Hamels happened to pitch for the Cubs that day when I went. And it's weird seeing him not in a Phillies uniform.
That had to hurt, didn't it, after the great years he had and,
yes.
and the MVP kind of seasons he had with the Phillies. Looks like this young man, Calabrese, is a pull hitter from the spray chart provided on your website. Let's see if he goes to the left side here.
Koenig from the left side of the rubber. Takes a deep breath, the payoff pitch. A ball in the dirt. Runners now on first and second for the Otters with one out. So Carlos Castro led off this inning with a single. He now advances to second base. Calabrese walked seconds ago, and it'll bring up Gozzo, who back in the second inning, or third inning I should say, started a rally. He struck out, but because of the drop third strike rule, there was a wild pitch by Koenig. The throw from De La Rosa to first baseman Jake Veith was not in time. So Gozzo was awarded first base, advanced to third, and now with one out has an opportunity to potentially tie this game at 1. 1-0 Crushers. We're here in the bottom of the fourth. Gozzo from Oklahoma Baptist University batted .333 in his senior season. First pitch to Gozzo is a ground ball down the third base line. Eventually drifts over in front of the Otters dugout, or excuse me, the Crushers dugout on the third base line.
For those fans that aren't here this evening, you get a long string Bain here. He's 6'6", and this is a new addition to the roster. It looks like he's only, prior to this evening, it only had one at bat in one game.
Yep, it was last night. He came in a pinch hit situation.
Tall, slender young man. Here comes the pitch.
0-1, swing and a drive to left field. Going back is Racusin, makes the catch near the warning track for out number 2. Good to put a good barrel on that baseball. Just wasn't deep enough to advance the runners. So with 2 outs here, will be the 9-hole hitter in J.J. Gould. He struck out looking back in the third. So F7 on the putout. There's 2 away. Gould from Sarasota, Florida. Spent a majority of his baseball career in Florida. Went to Florida State his freshman year. Went to a junior college in Florida his sophomore year, and then finished out at Jacksonville University for his junior and senior seasons. Runners on first and second for JJ. The first pitch is a called strike right down the heart of the plate for strike 1.
Looks like he's been around a bit, even since his fairly recent graduation from college. Drafted by the Marlins in the 24th round. He's been at Greensboro, Batavia, Juniper in the Marlins organization, and then before coming to Evansville, played with St. Paul and Winnipeg in the American Association.
The 0-1 pitch to Gould. Outside for a ball. Count even at 1. With 2 outs here in the bottom of the fourth, Otters have runners on first and second. Carlos Castro started this inning with a single. Walking moments ago was Calabrese. The previous batter before Gould was Gozzo, and he flew out to left field for out number 2. 1-1 the count. Koenig, the left-handed pitcher, against a right-handed batter in J.J. Gould. The slick shortstop will call time to readjust himself. Now, sometimes the pitcher might play a mind game with the batter, and other times the batter will play mind games with the pitcher. From the pitcher's perspective, sometimes if he's in a routine, he'll get the ball, throw over, and then get the ball back from the catcher, throw it home again. And then other times he'll take a delay, pause for maybe 5 seconds to mess with the batter's head. That time, JJ noticed that Koenig was taking too long, so he decided to step out of the batter's box and call time. There's a ball outside, knee-high to J.J. Gould, the right-handed batter. Count at 2-1 with 2 outs. Otters down 1-0. Koenig with a deep breath from the left side of the rubber. The 2-1 pitch called in there for a strike. Good breaking ball there from Koenig. Evens the count at 2 with 2 outs.
You've probably been to a lot of the major league parks. Have you been to the Baltimore Camden Yards?
I should have. I was in D.C. last summer, and I did not make a trip up to Camden Yards. I was calling summer collegiate baseball in the Washington, D.C. area, but I wish I did.
One thing about this ballpark, if you look out in right field, as the sun sets here on a beautiful evening in Evansville, the backdrop of the building in the background in right field is almost reminiscent of the building, the industrial building behind the right field area in Camden Yards. And it always reminds me of that when you, particularly during sunset here with the sun coming from the west and shining on that building.
J.J. Gould with a 3-2 count. 2 outs, runners on first and second, the payoff pitch. As a foul ball down the first base line. Count remains at 3-2. Now, Jim, if you noticed, the last inning, the Otters had the bases loaded with 1 out. Unfortunately, failed to score a run to tie the game at least at 1. There aren't many opportunities where you come up with situations you have runners on first and second with 1 out after having the bases loaded with 1 out in the previous inning. It's about quality at bats, stringing them together in order to produce runs on the board. Sometimes you don't necessarily need a big hit over the fence.
Hate to see 5 runners stranded in a 1-run game. There go the runners.
Ooh, J.J. Gould thought that was ball 4 and said it's a called strike 3. The crowd does not like it here at Bosse Field.
And he's let the umpire know he wasn't thrilled with that call.
So we're going to head to the top of the 5th. Crushers clinging to a 1-0 lead. We'll come back to Bosse Field after this break. You're listening to Evansville Otters Baseball on 91.5 WUEV and the Otters Digital Network.
The Evansville Otters would like to thank the Evansville Courier and Press for their support and coverage of Otters baseball. The Evansville Courier and Press provides news, sports, and weather coverage to the Tri-State, both in a print and online edition. The Evansville Courier and Press can be found online at courierandpress.com, as well as on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Pinterest. The Evansville Courier and Press, a member of the Journal Media Group.
GD Ritzy's is a proud supporter of Evansville Otters baseball. GD Ritzy's menu features hamburgers, grilled chicken sandwiches, old-fashioned peanut butter and jelly, and ice cream. With 3 Evansville locations: west at 4810 University Drive, on the north side at 4320 North First Avenue, and on the east side at 601 North Green River Road. GD Ritzy's is open from 10 a.m. to 10:30 p.m. Sunday through Thursday, and 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. on Friday and Saturday. GD Ritzy's, a proud supporter of the Evansville Otters.
The Hoosier Lottery began selling lottery tickets on October 13, 1989. Since then, the Hoosier Lottery has offered hundreds of different games, awarded prizes to millions of players, and given billions of dollars to the state of Indiana. The Hoosier Lottery's mission is to responsibly provide innovative and entertaining lottery games for the benefit of the citizens of Indiana. To learn more about the Hoosier Lottery, visit them online at HoosierLottery.com. The Hoosier Lottery, a proud supporter of Evansville Otters baseball.
91.5 WUEV Evansville.
Well, you can discuss the play. You can't argue the play. You discuss the play. Because when you argue balls and strikes, that means you're ejected. Not rejected, ejected.
Welcome back to Evansville Otters Baseball. We're in the top of the 5th, 1-0 Crushers. Next pitch to De La Rosa, the catcher, is a ball. First pitch was a strike, count even at 1. Dave Nguyen on the call with my special guest, Jim.
Enjoying to see a well-pitched game.
Yes. Jim Casey, a friend of John Stanley, the president of the Evansville Otters. And I understand you are a lawyer?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
The 1-2 is popped up in the air. Nicely calls out where the ball is. Rizzitello catches it for out number 1. Good communication amongst the Otters in the infield. With a veteran ball club, that's what you want out there. And nicely doing a good job to locate the baseball in time for Rizzitello to catch the ball for out number 1. So De La Rosa, who is 0 for 1 after that at bat, he walked back in the 3rd. It'll be an F2 on the put out for out number 1 here in the top of the 5th. Kraft to the plate. He walked and scored the only run of this game on a fielder's choice by Rizzitello. He advanced to third on an error by Ryan Long when he tried to do a 5-4 double play after the unassisted out, tagging third base. 0-1 the pitch is inside for a ball. Count even at 1 with 1 out here in the top of the 5th. Otters have had 2 opportunities to score to tie this game. They had the bases loaded with 1 out in the bottom of the 3rd, failed to score, and then they had runners on 1st and 2nd with 1 out and did not score either. 2-1 the count after the breaking ball from Nicely. 1 out to Steven Kraft. Nicely, the lefty, kicks and fires the 2-1. Ground ball off the pitcher's mound, will direct it towards second base, and Cronin unfortunately won't be able to play the ball. It will be a cheap infield hit with 1 out here in the top of the 5th.
That was unfortunate.
It's just one of those things where there are a handful of baseballs that go up the middle over the pitcher's mound, and it either kicked off the rubber or maybe the leg of Nicely. There is still 1 out. Double play is in effect as Cronin at second base will inch towards his right, and Gould, the shortstop, will move towards his left, playing at double play depth. So a single for Kraft. He's at first. There's 1 out. Aaron Hill to the plate. He is 1 for 1 with a single, the first hit of this game back in the 1st, and he reached on a fielder's choice in the 3rd.
Nicely has pitched a nice game for the
Fly
Otters
ball
this evening.
Foul territory. Carlos thinks he might have it, and it'll eventually go foul into the seats. Count moves to 0-1 with 1 out.
And he had a nice year as well for the Otters in 2018, going 8-5 with a 4.24 ERA and 20 starts, striking out 85 batters in 114 innings.
The most starts for an Otters starter last year. Pitched in the playoffs as well. The Otters fell to the Washington Wild Things in the 2018 Frontier League playoffs. The 0-1 to Hill is a breaking ball in the dirt. Count even at 1 with 1 out. So last night was a hit parade for the Otters. They scored 1 run in the 1st, 1 run in the 2nd, and 5 in the 3rd to take a commanding 7-0 lead after 3. It's a completely different story right now on Superhero Night at Bosse Field. Next pitch will be a ball outside. Rizzitello tried to get the baseball out of his glove, couldn't get a good grip in time to throw it down to second base. It'll be a successful stolen base for Kraft. So now the Crushers have a runner in scoring position at second base with 1 out here in the top of the 5th. The Crushers hold a 1-0 lead with 1 out. Nicely. Starting pitcher for the Otters, 2-1 pitch. Be a ball outside. Count moves to 3-1.
Austin Nicely is somewhat of a veteran pitcher. He was drafted out of high school, so this is his 6th season, I believe, in organized baseball. So he's pitched his greater level of experience than a number of these players that are straight out of college ball.
The 3-1 is a foul ball behind home plate. Count now full. There's 1 out. Double play not in effect as Kraft was able to take second base. So playing it on the edge of the outfield grass at shortstop is J.J. Gould. Trying to hold the runner at second and inching towards second base is Cronin, the second baseman. 3-2 the count. Nicely from the belt. Stares down Kraft at second base. The payoff pitch. Called strike 3 right on the outside corner. That's a big pitch right there for out number 2. Rizzitello to the plate. He is responsible for the lone run of the game. An RBI fielder's choice that scored Kraft back in the 3rd.
He's been around the plate most of the night, hasn't he? He pitches like a veteran. He looks like he knows what he's doing out there. That was a nice pitch for the pick up the strikeout.
He had a rough start to start the year. First pitch is a ground ball. That's through the hole, a base hit. Rounding third, heading home is Kraft. There will not be a throw to the plate. The Crushers extend their lead to 2 on the RBI single from Rizzitello. Both RBIs in this game. So in 3 at-bats, he is 1 for 1. He had a sacrifice bunt in the first, the fielder's choice in the third, the RBI fielder's choice, and now an RBI single. 2-0 Crushers. Marrero, the shortstop, to the plate. He was 0 for 3 yesterday, 0 for 2 today. Staring down the runner at first is Nicely. The pitch, breaking ball right in the dirt. Swing and a miss there from Marrero for strike 1.
In this era in the majors of so many shifts, they're playing these guys pretty well straight away. Center fielder's a little more shallow, playing slightly deeper in left for this right-handed hitter, and right fielder again is pretty much straight away in right field with no shift apparent.
Throw down to second base. Oh, he's a dead duck. Cronin will tag him out, and that will be the 3rd out of the inning. Otters get out of somewhat of a jam, but a second run has been scored here in the 5th. Good throw down by Rizzitello to the second baseman David Cronin. The Crushers score to extend their lead to 2 on an RBI single by Rizzitello. We head to the bottom of the 5th. Otters down 2-0 to Lake Erie on the Otters Digital Network and 91.5 WUEV.
The International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local Chapter 16, would like to take time to say, Go Otters! The IBEW Local 16's jurisdiction includes 13 counties in southwestern Indiana, as well as Wabash County in Illinois. Its members are divided into several categories of electrical work, including inside construction, maintenance electric, residential wiring, and sign classifications. More information on IBEW Local 16 can be found online at ibew16.net.
The Tri-State Area Marathon service stations are proud supporters of the Evansville Otters. Marathon has over 5,100 Marathon-branded stations nationwide, and a full list of area Marathon stations and a list of daily gas prices are available online at mymarathonstation.com. Marathon provides products which support commercial, industrial, and retail operations. Marathon's slogan is Fueling the American Spirit.
This Evansville Otters broadcast is made possible through support from New Image Travel. New Image Travel provides motor coach charter service to the United States and Canada with pickup within a 150-mile radius of Evansville. A full list of New Image Travel's offerings can be found online at newimagecharter.com. New Image Travel can be reached toll-free at 1-800-432-6213. New Image Travel, a proud supporter of Evansville Otters baseball.
Welcome back to Evansville Otters baseball. Dave Nguyen, and the Otters are unfortunately down by a score of 2-0. Cronin to the plate to lead things off for the Otters in the bottom of the 5th. So in the bottom of the 3rd, the Otters had the bases loaded and with 1 out, failed to score. They had runners on first and second in the bottom of the 4th and couldn't score. Cronin will try to set the tone for the Otters here in the 5th. He has a 1-1 count after a called strike on the outside corner.
Looking back to 2018, Cronin had a great year with the Otters. All-Star year, batted .296.
The 1-1 would be a called strike on the outside corner once more, about knee-high. Cronin doesn't like to swing at that pitch, but he has a 1-2 count. Now needs to protect.
Native of the Chicagoland area in Orland Park, he started his career with the White Sox in their chain.
The 1-2 to Cronin. Breaking ball outside for a ball. Count now even at 2 with no outs. So his whole family are White Sox fans, but he is a Cubs fan, just like his grandfather.
Interesting.
Yes. Are you familiar with Giordano's Pizza?
Yes, I am.
That's not only my favorite of Chicago, but Dave's favorite as well. Being from Philadelphia, I knew I need to try a couple things when I get to Chicago. The Chicago dog, it's all right. The I'm a big fan of Ditka's cigars. I need to try one. I'm a cigar guy occasionally. And a deep dish Chicago pizza, and then, of course, Wrigley Field. So I have knocked off 3 of the 4.
You're checking a lot of good Chicago boxes there.
Swing and a foul tip into the glove of De La Rosa for strikeout number 1 of this inning. Strikeout to David Cronin. 1 out here in the bottom of the 5th. Bring up Keith Grieshaber, the St. Louis native. Chesterfield, Missouri to be exact. Grieshaber is 2 for 2 with 2 singles. Koenig doing a nice job on the mound, coming into this game with a 2-0 record and a 2.87 ERA. First pitch to Keith will be swinging a foul ball behind home plate. Now, I think we both know that baseball, it's a lot of a mental game and strategy. So in this particular situation, Koenig knows that Grieshaber has 2 hits off of him, both of them singles, so he probably wants to jam him inside. The 0-1, swing and a miss on a fastball. Felt the heat right there on that pitch from Koenig. Quickly accounted 0-2 to Grieshaber.
He smoked that one in there.
If I had to guess, it must have been a fastball at least at 95. Both pitches to Grieshaber were inside. Probably should expect a third one inside. Here's the 0-2. Ball is upstairs. Count now at 1-2 to the St. Louis native, who is proud and happy for his St. Louis Blues winning the Stanley Cup this year.
I would imagine.
Are you a Hawks fan?
Grew up in the kind of the Bobby Hall, Stan Mikita era.
Okay.
This tall left-hander for the Crushers. We were standing out in the left field, down the left field line, close to the bullpen, and watched him warm up before the game. And he can bring it. He's a good-sized kid.
Standing tall on the rubber from the left side, the lefty Koenig takes a deep breath on the mound. 2-2 the count to Grieshaber. Here's the pitch. Will be another pitch inside, low in the dirt near his feet. Count now full to Grieshaber. 2-0 Crushers after the RBIs from Rizzitello. So in a sense, it's Rizzitello 2, the Otters 0. The payoff pitch to Grieshaber will be another ball 4 inside at his ankles. So Grieshaber has reached base safely in all 3 of his at-bats. To the plate now is Ryan Long, who leads the Frontier League in RBIs with 41 and is tied for the league in home runs with 9. The Crandall, Texas native was in a situation in the bottom of the 3rd. He had the bases loaded, 1 out, and unfortunately struck out swinging. Ryan is 0 for 2 tonight.
He's had a nice career with the Otters. This is his 3rd season. He's one of the most veteran Otters.
First pitch to Ryan Long. Called strike right around the knees. Count at 0-1 with 1 out. The former Texas Tech Red Raider was in school around the same time as Kansas City Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes. The 0-1. Outside for a ball. Count even at 1 with 1 out. Played collegiately at Texas Tech. Started at shortstop, then moved to 3rd. And his senior year, played in the outfield. As there are more infielders coming into Tech, Long has decent speed, even though his primary position is at 3rd base.
Looks like he's a left-hander. He's not a pull hitter. In the spray chart, indicates he goes to left center and left field as much as he goes in up the middle, much more so than down the line and right. So he may fare better against a left-hander than some dead pull, locked-in left-side batters.
1-2 after the swing and a miss to Ryan Long. Koenig on the left side of the rubber. The lefty, De La Rosa, his catcher, sets up outside. Runner on first and Keith Grieshaber, the 1-2. Check swing, and Ryan Long doesn't bring his bat around. Count even at 2 with 1 out. If Long was able to get on base, that would be nice here. Hopefully on a hit. Runners at first and third would be nice for the Otters with 1 out.
The sun is set here at the old ballpark. Heat's going down a little bit. It's turning into a beautiful evening out here at Bosse Field.
The 2-2, Grieshaber goes. And he'll advance there without a throw. A wild pitch right there from Koenig.
Our runner was going. He was half tempted to try it to third there for a moment, it looked like. On the pass ball the way back to the screen.
So Grieshaber advances to second base on the miscue from Koenig, the left-handed pitcher. Koenig, in his last 4 starts, is 1-0 with 3 no decisions. Those 3 no decisions ended up being wins for the Lake Erie Crushers. 2 of them against the Washington Wild Things, and in both games against Washington, the final score was at 2-1. Ryan Long with a full count with 1 out. Grieshaber at second base. Koenig stares in at his catcher De La Rosa. They set up outside the payoff pitch. Breaking ball in the dirt. It's a 6-pitch walk to Ryan Long. A quality at bat there for the Texas native.
I think the Crushers left-hander gave a bit of a look to the umpire on that ball 4 count.
So now there will be a mound visit as manager James Keller out on the mound for the Crushers. There is some action in the bullpen for Lake Erie. So 2 runs have been scored, both in favor of the Crushers. They were both scored. There's 1 run was scored in the 3rd inning on an RBI fielder's choice by Rizzitello. And then in the 5th, the top of the 5th, Rizzitello had an RBI single to score Kraft. Kraft has scored both runs off the bat of Rizzitello in this game. The Otters had the bases loaded with 1 out in the bottom of the 3rd, could not score. They had runners on first and second with 1 out back in the bottom of the 4th and could not get a run across home plate. So now Mike Rizzitello, the catcher for today, who, if you couldn't tell from his name, is Italian, and is a big fan of Frank Sinatra as he walks up to my way.
Although the Crushers had a right-hander warmed up in the bullpen, you could tell that their manager had no intent to pull the big left-hander at this point. So he's still in the game. And we'll see, despite the walk here in the bottom of the 5th, if he's still got some more gas in his manager's opinion.
First pitch to Riz is popped up. Shallow center field. Catching the ball is the second baseman Hill. 1 pitch, 1 out for out number 2. So Rizzitello is now over 3. In his last at-bat, he came up with the bases loaded in the 3rd and flew out to right. So now it's a fly out to the second baseman. Castro to the plate. He led off the 4th with a single. He is 1 for 2. He struck out looking in the 2nd, singled in the 4th. A big spot right here as the Otters once again, they had runners on first and second with 1 out. Castro, the native of the Dominican Republic, played in the Atlanta Braves organization for 5 years.
He represents one of the best power threats in this lineup, doesn't he, David?
Yes. Swing and a pop-up. Located right in the outfield, shallow right field. The second baseman, Hill, catches the ball in shallow right for out number 3. Runners once again could not be able to score as the Otters in back-to-back innings had runners on first and second with 1 out. We head to the top of the 6th. 2-0 Crushers the score. You're listening to Evansville Otters Baseball on the Otters Digital Network at 91.5 WUEV.
Injuries are inevitable. It doesn't matter if you're playing baseball, walking the dog, or falling from a ladder. Injuries happen. When they do, Tri-State Orthopedics offers treatment for sprains, strains, and fractures by medical specialists. Tri-State Orthopedics is located at 225 Cross Lake Drive in Evansville, just north of the Lloyd and I-164. Tri-State Orthopedics can be reached by phone at 812-477-1558. Its urgent care line is 812-474-OUCH. Tri-State Orthopedics, a proud supporter of Evansville Otters baseball.
Heritage Federal Credit Union has 7 full-service branches in both Evansville and Newburgh, serving more than 38,000 members. Membership is open to anyone who lives, works, worships, or attends school in Vanderburgh or Warwick County. Heritage Federal Credit Union offers mortgage and consumer loans, checking and savings accounts, as well as online banking for members. Heritage Federal Credit Union can be reached toll-free by phone at 1-800-858-1693. It can also be found online at hfcu.info.
The Tin Fish Restaurant is located at 707 State Street in Newburgh, Indiana. Independently owned and operated, the Tin Fish menu featured salads and sandwiches, as well as seafood platters and combos, and seafood burritos, tacos, and burgers. The Tin Fish Restaurant is open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. They can be reached by phone at 812-490-7000. Visit them online at tinfishnewburgh.com. The Tin Fish Restaurant, a proud supporter of Evansville Otters baseball.
Stick around for the whole game if you want. Welcome back to Evansville Otters Baseball. Dave Nguyen here with a special guest of mine.
Jim Casey, thank you for the opportunity to sit in for a couple innings.
Not a problem.
Bill Bussing and John Stanley.
I understand you know both gentlemen quite well.
I do. Bill, as you know, is a local attorney, a very prominent one, and lucky enough to have him as a friend for many years.
And I understand Mr. Bussing, the Otters are his baby, as it is a 2-0 game in favor of the Crushers. The Otters have had runners. They have stranded now 7 runners on base in the past 3 innings. There's a 2-1 count to Emmanuel Marrero, the shortstop. It'll be batters 3, 4, and 5 in the Crushers order, who hold the 2-0 lead. 2-1 the count. The pitch from Nicely. Check swing. Did he go around? No, he did not, says base umpire and James Purnell. Count now at 3-1 to Marrero. Marrero 0 for 2 today, 0 for 3 last night. Overall, heading into this at-bat, he is 0 for 5. 3-1 the count. The pitch from Nicely from the belt. Swing and a drive to left field. Going back is Grieshaber to the track, to the wall, and that ball is gone. A solo home run for Marrero. His first hit of the series extends this Crushers lead to 3.
Well, Nicely to this point has pitched a very nice game, even though he'd given up a couple runs. He had not been hit hard. That's the first real shot that I've seen thus far today. They had a couple singles that were well hit, but other than that, they hadn't touched him up. So it could be we're getting into the 7th inning on a very warm night, particularly during the first few innings of his work. And I'm not privy to what the pitch count looks like at this point, but it could be that he would rightfully be running out of gas at some point here.
This will be pitch 80. First pitch to Cable, called strike inside, lefty-lefty matchup. Count at 0-1. Nicely started the year 0-4 with a 15 ERA. The 0-1 will be a ball inside at the belt. Count even at 1 to Cable. Nicely earned his first win at Lake Erie against the Crushers. He threw 7 shutout innings, only allowed 3 hits. He has a 3-game win streak heading into today. Ground ball softly to the pitcher's mound and Nicely. Toss over to first to Castro in time for a routine out number 1. 1-3 on the putout. Racusin to the plate. Racusin leads the Crushers in batting average, batting .294 heading into this game. He was 2 for 3 with 2 singles yesterday. He is 0 for 2 today heading into this at-bat. So 2 for 5 heading to this at-bat. He had 2 groundouts to Ryan Long, 1 in the 2nd, 1 in the 4th to third base. First pitch strike to Racusin. Count at 0-1. Nicely the lefty on the mound. From the belt, fires the 0-1 pitch. Be a soft fly ball to center field. Playing that well is Meggs for out number 2, out in center. 2 away here in the top of the 6th, 3-0 Lake Erie after the Marrero led off this inning with a solo home run. So the Otters have left 7 runners on base in the past 3 innings. and nicely has kept the Otters in this ball game. The Otters in the past 3 innings unfortunately have not capitalized, scoring at least 1 run home.
I'd anticipate not too distant future they're going to have to go to the pen. And looking at what Nicely did last year's, used solely as a starter, it appears, with 20 starts, 114 innings. So the fact he's into this, getting through the 7th inning.
Swinging a drive to right center field, caught by Meggs for out number 3. Not a 1-2-3 inning, as Marrero led off this inning with a solo home run to left field. Nicely's done a great job for the Otters thus far. Offensively, the Otters have not been able to put a run across the board.
No, you're correct. And I think if he's averaged a little under 6 innings per start last year, he may be getting into a little uncharted territory to get past the 7th inning, which he's just done. So we'll see what Otters have in the pen and go from there.
All right. So, Jim, I want to, know a little bit more background around you. And are you currently living in the Evansville area? You're from the state of Indiana.
I am. I grew up in Lake County. I've been here in Evansville for over 30 years practicing.
Oh, wow.
So,
okay.
At the wonderful place. We've raised 3 kids here and had the fortunate experience of getting to know some fine people like Bill and John and have been enjoying coming out here for a company outing here for the Otters for over 20 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So we've got a nice group out here this evening.
That's fantastic.
From our firm, Zemer, Stamen, Weitzel, and Shoulders.
Now, from being an outsider from the Philadelphia area, when coming to Evansville after being here for now going into month number 3, one of the big things I've noticed is how nice the people are. Up back home in the Northeast, I couldn't pick up a conversation with a stranger. I may get a quote-unquote friendly gesture instead. But I think I found and I appreciate how nice the people are here in southern Indiana.
Well, as an East Coaster, a native of the East Coast, you might notice a number of years ago, it was probably 20 years ago, I think it was Bristol Myers or Johnson Johnson had to move in all these families, and I think there was some reticence from the people from New Jersey to be coming to Evans Patch, Indiana. And after they had been here 3 to 5 years, they found out that a lot of people didn't want to leave Evansville, Indiana. I think it takes a couple years to get your traction here if you're from out of town like I am and my wife was. But once you're here for a couple of years, you fall in love with the place. So, and it's the old line, it's a wonderful place to raise a family is absolutely true.
As we have a pitching change, we'll get to that momentarily for Lake Erie Crushers. The Evansville Otters will step to the plate. They'll have Jack Meggs, the center fielder, Calabrese, the DH, and Gozzo, the right fielder, to the plate. Batters 6, 7, and 8 in the Otters order. Marrero hit the solo home run back in the top of the 6th. Crushers extend their lead to 3. Dave Nguyen and Jim Casey on the call. Jim Casey, a lawyer. What kind of lawyer exactly? Don't want to mess that up.
I practice primarily labor and employment law.
Okay. Very interesting practice, to say the least.
It is. It is.
First pitch to Meggs is a breaking ball in the dirt as new pitchers entered the game for the Crushers. It'll be number 31, Augie Gallardo, right-handed pitcher, 6 foot, $185. Played for the Traverse City Beach Bums last year, who are no longer in the Frontier League. There are 2 teams that left the Frontier League last year. The 1-0 is a breaking ball in the dirt. Lefty-righty matchup, left-handed batter and Jack Meggs, right-handed pitcher and Gallardo.
But David, is an amateur in what you do as a profession. I appreciate you letting me sit in for a couple innings here.
Not a problem.
When you're one short in the booth.
I think having an analyst, depending on who it is, creates an interesting dynamic. Pop up in the air, first base side. Veith seems to locate it, and he'll make the catch in foul territory on the first base line for out number 1.
One thing about this ballpark, fans, as you recall, there is a lot of room both on the third base and first base side for the first baseman and third baseman respectively to catch foul balls. In some of the major league parks, including Wrigley, as we alluded to, in the interest of adding more seats, there is less room for in foul ball territory, but this ballpark has a lot of space, so those foul balls that would go into the stands at other ballparks are caught here, as was the fate on that foul ball to third base, or first base line rather, by Jack Meggs.
First pitch to Calabrese, single on the left side of the infield. That's a base hit.
There we go. Solid base hit to left in between between the shortstop and third baseman. He hit that on the nose.
So the third hit of the series for Calabrese, and maybe that'll start a rally. Gozzo to the plate. He is 0 for 2 today, but reached base back in the third on the drop third strike call. The catcher, De La Rosa, could not throw down to the first baseman, Veith, in time. So Gozzo was awarded first base, reaching there safely. Eventually reached the third and unfortunately did not score. He then flew out to left field back in the fourth. Here is his third at bat, and is a big cut, no contact for strike one. Gozzo from Oklahoma Baptist University batted .333. Calabrese on first. He singled seconds ago. Gallardo relieving the starting pitcher in Koenig. Swing and a miss on a good breaking ball there from Gallardo. Count now quickly at 0-2 with one out for the Otters.
He's looked a little tentative on both those swings. He's a tall 6'6" young man. They can't have any book on him because it's only about his fourth or fifth at bat this season. So the
Gallardo, the righty, fires the 0-2.
Runner went.
Throw down to first. That's in time. So not only the strikeout, but the strikeout, then throw down to second base for a strikeout, and then a throw-out double play. We head to the top of the seventh at Bosse Field. It is 3-0 Lake Erie over the Evansville Otters on the Otters Digital Network and 91.5 WUEV.
No matter how large or small your digging project may be, no matter how urban or rural, you must always call 811 before any digging project. 811 is our national one-call number, alerting your local utility companies to come out and mark any lines they have near your dig site. So before you do this or this, make sure you do this. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811. Brought to you by Indiana 811.
The Pizza Brick Road always goes to Tyroni's. I'm in the mood for pizza and I'm ready to go. The Pizza Brick Road goes to Tyroni's. So follow me down the Pizza Brick Road. Road down to Tyroni's. The Pizza Brick Road. The Pizza Brick Road always goes to Tyroni's.
The Evansville Otters would like to thank the Evansville Courier-Press for their support and coverage of Otters baseball. The Evansville Courier-Press provides news, sports, and weather coverage to the Tri-State, both in a print and online edition. The Evansville Courier-Press can be found online at courierpress.com, as well as on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Pinterest. The Evansville Courier-Press, a member of the Journal Media Group.
Welcome back to Evansville Otters Baseball. Dave Nguyen and special guest of Mr. Jim Casey, a good friend of Mr. Bill Bussing, the owner of the Otters, and President John Stanley. We're in the top of the seventh, nicely back on the mound. 55 strikes, 31 balls thrown thus far. There is no action in the Otters bullpen. Otters down 3-0. A solo home run by Marrero and 2 RBIs by Rizzitello. That is how we have our score. 0-1 the count to Jake Veith. Here's the next pitch. Swing and a miss on another good breaking ball from Austin, nicely entering the seventh inning. Has an 0-2 count to Jake Veith, the first baseman. Veith today is 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a flyout to J.J. Gould at shortstop. 0-2, breaking ball in the dirt. Count moves to 1-2.
Our left-hander is still cruising along, even though he's getting up there in the pitch count, and he's still bringing it and still all around the plate. Other than that one home run, there really hasn't been much damage, though they've leaked in a couple of other runs for the 3-0 lead.
The 1-2 to Veith. Swing and a miss. Another strikeout for Austin Nicely for out number 1. It'll bring up Brian De La Rosa, excuse me. De La Rosa, I don't know if you were here last night, Jim, but he threw out an Otters base runner from his knees behind the plate.
Wow.
He's got that. His arm is that impressive. So if my math is correctly, that is 4 strikeouts for Austin Nicely.
We've seen another good arm tonight. Our catcher threw out, I think the inning ended shortly thereafter, so we didn't get to comment on it much. But
fly ball to shallow right field, foul territory. No one was able to make the catch. Castro, the first baseman, Cronin, the second baseman, and the right fielder and Gozzo unable to communicate who was able to catch that ball. It is a long strike for strike number 2 with 1 out.
Tough chance on that one. It was kind of no man's land out there in between all 3. But I was going to say, our catcher, and I don't think we were able to comment on it other than he'd thrown out the runner a couple innings ago. But that peg had that guy by, what, 5 steps, 6 steps. That he stopped and tried to go back to first. You don't see that very often on attempted stolen base.
0-2, broken bat. Long charges the ball, throw to first. In time. What a throw by Ryan Long to get out number 2.
And a good job by our pitcher Nicely to dodge that bat. It went right under his feet and straight up the middle, and it was about 2/3 of the bat that broke off.
Now, I've seen parts of a bat broken, chips of the handle of the barrel. First time I've seen a broken bat in this season. A completely broken bat. To the plate now will be the 9-hole hitter and Steven Kraft. He has scored the first 2 runs of this game. First pitch from Nicely is way inside. Right-handed batter, left-handed pitcher matchup, count at 1-0. There's still no action in the Otters bullpen. Nicely, through 6 2/3 innings, has 61 strikes and 33 balls. The 1-0. Right in there, a breaking ball for a strike.
Beautiful pitch.
Looks like his curveball right there. Count even at 1.
He appears to be changing speeds very nicely. And he's got the batters off balance. He looks very good this inning.
The 1-1. Swing and a drive to left field. That will be drifting foul, and it does. It hits the left field fence in foul territory. 1-2 the count with 2 outs. So far in this game, the Otters have had 4 hits. They have no runs. But they had 3 straight innings in the bottom of the 3rd, 4th, and 5th to score runs. In the bottom of the 3rd, they had the bases loaded with 1 out, couldn't score. Runners on 1st and 2nd with 1 out in the 4th, couldn't score. Same situation in the 5th, same result. Crushers have 3 runs on 5 hits, including a solo home run by Marrero, the shortstop. The 1-2 from Nicely. It'll be fouled behind home plate. Count remains at 1-2 with 2 outs. So are you all 4 Chicago teams? Well, actually, there's more than one baseball team, I should say. So Cubs, are you Bears, Blackhawks, and Bulls as well?
Pretty much growing up, that was the case. But having lived in Indiana all my life, obviously, and a
ground ball to third, Ryan Long across the diamond. Play there by Castro with the scoop. And that's the 3rd out of the inning. It is stretch time here at Bosse Field. We'll get back to your thought, Jim, after this break.
Right.
You listen to Evansville Otters Baseball on 91.5 WUEV and the Otters Digital Network.
7th inning stretch time. Get up and move wherever you are, unless you're driving the car.
You like the blues? We know you do. And here at 91.5 WUEV, we're adding an extra day of blues programming. The original Tri-State Place for the Blues on Saturday starts at 11 a.m. with Beale Street Caravan, and at 12 noon, a case of the blues until 6 p.m. But now on Sundays, we add the Sunday edition of a case of the blues starting at 12 noon and going till 5 p.m. 91.5 WEV, we're your place for blues in the Tri-State.
Welcome back to Evansville Otters Baseball. Dave Nguyen and my special guest, Mr. Jim Casey, a good friend of Bill Bussing and John Stanley on the call. Otters will have J.J. Gould, David Cronin, and Keith Grieshaber to the plate for batters 9, 1, and 2 in the order. Gallardo on the mound for a second inning of work. Righty-righty matchup. The first pitch to J.J. called a ball outside. It was one of those 50-50 pitches, a good breaking ball. J.J. lucky with that first pitch ball.
We're getting down to it. We need to start doing some damage here.
Otters have had plenty of opportunities to put runs on the board in this game. The 1-0 to Gould, swing and a miss. Another good breaking ball from Gallardo. Count now even at 1. So part of my job is to keep various statistics. And throughout the season, the Otters have scored 38 runs in the 7th inning. They could use a few right now.
Well, hopefully they'll be able to add to that number here.
Swing and a miss to J.J. Gould. Strike count now at 1 and 2. Gallardo played for the Traverse City Beach Bums. Last year, they are no longer in the Frontier League. Same thing with the Normal Corn Belters. Making the most of his opportunity here in Lake Erie, stands on the far left side of the rubber. The 1-2 pitch to Gould. Swing and a fly ball, foul territory, down the first base line. Veith thinks he has it, and does, making the catch for out number 1. Second time that's occurred, it's just a tough play right there.
Yeah.
So with 1 away, we go to the top of the order, and the Chicago native David Cronin to the plate. Dave is 0 for 2 with a walk, a strikeout, and a flyout to the second baseman Hill back in the first. Cronin hitting .279 on the year. Last night he walked twice, scored 2 runs in his first 2 at-bats. He also reached on a fielder's choice. Lefty-righty matchup.
You made an interesting point about the setup on this left-hander or right-hander that the Crushers have on the mound. He sets up pitches from the stretch, even though nobody's on base, does from the left side of the rubber. But he also, after he gets to the stretch, he's almost got his back to the batter a little bit. Interesting setup in terms of his approach.
0-1 the count. Cronin at the plate. Gallardo from the stretch kicks and fires the 0-1. It's a breaking ball in the dirt. Count moves to 1-1 with 1 out. Keith Grieshaber on deck. He has 2 of the Otters' 4 hits today. Cronin was an all-star last year, and I don't know if you're aware, Jim, but this year the all-star format was a little bit different. It was the best of the Frontier League against the best of the Canada America League, or the Can-Am League.
Interesting. I wasn't aware of that.
The 1-1 pitch is a breaking ball in the dirt, moves the count to 2-1. I believe down to our left is the Frontier League president in Bill Lee, and he was a big part of making the All-Star game in this particular format this year. And I guess it's good to see competition from a different league in addition to different players and different teams.
I'm sure the players enjoyed that.
The 2-1 will be a foul ball in front of home plate. Count now even at 2 to Cronin. So if it was the rookie experience format, Cronin may have had a chance to make the All-Star team again this year. But the Otters were able to send 4 All-Stars, 3 position players, and a reliever to the All-Star game this year. Each position player in Calabrese, Castro, and Ryan Long each logged in a hit. Calabrese had an RBI single in the game. The Frontier League won by a score of 7-0. 2-2 the count now to David Cronin. The pitch from Gallardo is a breaking ball in the dirt, and apparently that hit Cronin in the feet. He's awarded first base.
Well, Cronin scored a couple runs last night, didn't he? All right, well, at least we have a base runner. Not the way you want to see a young man get to first, but he does not look like he's hurt, other than I'm sure it's stinging a little bit, but looks to be moving pretty well.
So the Otters do have some action in their bullpen on the first base line. It looks like Austin Nicely's day will be done. Austin did not pitch a bad game at all. It's just that he did not have enough run support. Otters hopefully can give him a no decision today. Keith Grieshaber to the plate. He is 2 for 3 or 2 for 2 with 2 singles and a walk. Has reached base safely in all 3 of his at-bats. Swing and a miss on a fastball from Gallardo. Count at 0-1 to the St. Louis native Keith Grieshaber.
Well, to the extent we've had one, he's been our main offensive threat tonight. Hopefully he can keep it up.
Grieshaber, Cronin, not only is hitting .279 on the year, he has 54 hits, 10 doubles, 17 RBIs, and a .343 on-base percentage. Pretty good for a leadoff hitter. The 0-1 to Grieshaber, called a strike right down the middle of the plate.
Big curveball there.
Count at 0-2. Looked like a tailing curve last minute to make it right down the middle. Ryan Long on deck. 0-2 the count to Grieshaber. Cronin on first. He walked. There's one out after the pop-up from J.J. Gould to start the inning. Otters down 3-0. Check swing. And home plate umpire, Mr. Drew Ashcraft, says that Keith Grieshaber went around for strike number 3, out number 2. Ryan Long to the plate. Ryan is 0 for 2 with a walk tonight. Struck out back in the third with the bases loaded, 1 out. He flew out to center field in the first. Otters down 3-0. They only have 4 hits today.
See if the Otters veteran Long can come through from here when they need him. Down by 3, runner on, bottom of the 8th. Need to do some damage here.
Long, the left-handed batter, in the bottom of the 7th. Runner on first and Cronin leads the Frontier League in RBIs with 41 and is tied with Carlos Castro with 9 home runs on the team and 9 home runs in the league, in addition with Dash Winningham. First pitch to Long. Ooh, that breaking ball bounced in there for a strike. Looked a bit inside. I don't know if I would have called it that way, but I guess there's a reason why I'm up here and not behind the plate. 0-1 the count to Long.
My opinion doesn't count any more than yours, but I had the same thought.
Cronin on first. The 0-1 to Long. Ground ball foul in front of the Otters dugout on the first base side. Count moves quickly to 0-2 to the All-Star third baseman. He started for the Frontier League in the All-Star game at third base. And I was talking to John Stanley earlier, and what makes Ryan a complete player is not only his contributions on the field, but serving the Evansville community off the field as well. Done that in high school as well as college. The 0-2 pitch to Long. Breaking ball in the dirt. Good block there by De La Rosa. Count moves to 1-2.
He's a 2-time Frontier League All-Star and a native of Texas.
The only thing that we disagree on is Ryan is a Cowboys fan. I wore a Eagles shirt to practice one day, and he was nice enough to make a comment about it. 1-2 the count. Otters down 3-0. The 1-2 pitch to Long. Cronin goes. Throw down to second.
He's in there comfortably.
But it doesn't matter, as that was a strikeout to Ryan Long. Here in the bottom of the 7th, we are through 7. Otters down by a score 3-0 as we head to the top of the 8th. You listen to Evansville Otters Baseball on the Otters Digital Network and 91.5 WUEV.
GD Ritzy's is a proud supporter of Evansville Otters Baseball. GD Ritzy's menu features hamburgers, grilled chicken sandwiches, old-fashioned peanut butter and jelly, and ice cream. with 3 Evansville locations. West at 4810 University Drive, on the north side at 4320 North 1st Avenue, and on the east side at 601 North Green River Road. GD Ritzy's is open from 10 a.m. to 10:30 p.m. Sunday through Thursday and 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. on Friday and Saturday. GD Ritzy's, a proud supporter of the Evansville Otters.
Heritage Federal Credit Union has 7 full-service branches in both Evansville and Newburgh, serving more than 38,000 members. Membership is open to anyone who lives, works, worships, or attends school in Vanderburgh or Warwick County. Heritage Federal Credit Union offers mortgage and consumer loans, checking and savings accounts, as well as online banking for members. Heritage Federal Credit Union can be reached toll-free by phone at 1-800-858-1693. It can also be found online at hfcu.info.
The Hoosier Lottery began selling lottery tickets on October 13, 1989. Since then, the Hoosier Lottery has offered hundreds of different games, awarded prizes to millions of players, and given billions of dollars to the state of Indiana. The Hoosier Lottery's mission is to responsibly provide innovative and entertaining lottery games for the benefit of the citizens of Indiana. To learn more about the Hoosier Lottery, visit them online at HoosierLottery.com. The Hoosier Lottery, a proud supporter of Evansville Otters baseball.
Welcome back to Evansville Otters Baseball. Dave Nguyen and my special guest, Mr. Jim Casey, who is a good friend of Bill Bussing and John Stanley. It is 3-0 Lake Erie over Evansville. Austin Nicely, the starting pitcher for the Evansville Otters, his day is done. His final line, 7 innings pitched, allowed 5 hits, 3 earned runs, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts, and unfortunately did not get enough run support tonight. The Otters had multiple opportunities to score. This is a WOW call to the bullpen. WOW is the phone, cable, and internet provider in Evansville. WOW, the best double play deal in town. I guess while I read the advertisement, Bill, or Jim, excuse me, do you have WOW as your phone, internet, and cable provider?
I don't think at this time, but
Okay.
I think we have in the past.
Okay.
I think did a nice job. While we were off, we were talking a little bit about this neat ballpark we get to enjoy here in Evansville. And one of the pieces of trivia that I noticed in preparing for this evening is that it appears, assuming the information is correct, that back in 1921 and 22, the Evansville Crimson Giants played in a National Football League game here.
Wow.
Or were part of the National Football League. I had never been aware of that. That great and storied history here between the not just the last 25 years that we've enjoyed the Otters here, but the triplets before that, and the White Sox chain had a club here, and the Boston Braves and Milwaukee Braves from 46 to 57. In addition to the Tigers' presence here during the war years as their spring training facility. So an awful lot of neat things have occurred in this ballpark over the years.
So Michael Gizzi will be the WOW call to the bullpen, making his 3rd appearance for the Otters. He was acquired last week. The 0-1 pitch from Gizzi is a breaking ball in the dirt. Count even at 1. Gizzi was a position player, played in the outfield for his first 2 years of college, was then converted to a pitcher his junior and senior years in college. He went to 3 different colleges during his career. Swing and a drive, deep left field. Going back is Grieshaber to the wall. That ball is gone. Bye-bye. A solo home run for Aaron Hill. This is now a 4-0 game in favor of the Crushers. To use alliteration, Hill crushed that ball over the fence and left. The second solo home run hit today. One of them was by Marrero, and now in the leadoff batter, and Aaron Hill, the second baseman, extends this Crushers lead to 4. To the plate now is Rizzitello, who has 2 RBIs, the first 2 RBIs of this game. Crushers came in with a record of 25-23, a half game behind the Schaumburg Boomers, who currently sit at first place in the Frontier League East Division. Otters are in second place in the Frontier League West Division. 6 games behind the Florence Freedom, who coming into today's contest Florence Freedom had a record of 36-17. While there's a mound visit, let's check the scores around the Frontier League. Were you about to say something, Jim?
Well, I was just going to say, hopefully before the catcher run out to have a visit with our 6'4" right-hander to hopefully calm him down a little bit or settle him down after that home run to start off. This is his third appearance for the Otters, so a new player. Tough start in this inning for him, but hopefully he can get him straightened out. And looks like he has some ability. It's he kind of falls off the mound a little bit to the left, but
Gizzy, the 1-0 pitch. Fly ball that's foul behind home plate. Count even at 1.
He's got a nice overhand, strong movement to the plate. We'll see how he fares against the rest of the lineup here.
So Rizzitello responsible for the first 2 runs scored by Lake Erie in this game. Scores around the Frontier League. Schaumburg Boomers currently down to the Washington Wild Things in Schaumburg by a score of 5-4 in the top of the 9th. The next pitch from Gizzy was a strike. Count moves to 1-2. In the 10th inning in Marion, Illinois, the Southern Illinois Miners and Joliet Slammers are tied at 2. The 1-2 pitch, ground ball over to Long at third.
Nice scoop.
Throws over to first. In time for out number 1. That's a veteran move right there. 5-3 on the putout.
Nice defensive play.
We bring up Emmanuel Marrero, who is 1 for 3 with a solo home run back in the 6th. In Ozinga Field in Crestwood, Illinois, outside of Orland Park, the River City Rascals lead the Windy City Thunderbolts by a score of 5-4 in the bottom of the 7th. First pitch to Marrero. Pop up in the air. Long thinks he might have it. Moves over to his left. Couple steps. Makes the catch for out number 2. And in Sauget, Illinois, the Florence Freedom are leading the Gateway Grizzlies by a score of 5-0. Otters currently down by a score of 4-0. To the plate now is John Cable, who is 0 for 3 with a strikeout, a flyout, and a groundout. First pitch from Gizzy is a fastball upstairs and away for ball 1. Count at 1-0 with 2 outs. Cable heading into this game was 1 for 4 with a single and 2 strikeouts. Coming into this at-bat, he is 1 for 7. The 1-0. Called a strike on the outside corner. Right-handed pitcher, left-handed batter matchup.
Nice pitch there by our right-hander.
Gizzy from the right side of the rubber, the 1-1. Swing and miss on a good breaking ball there for strike 2. One and 2 the count, 2 outs. Otters down 4-0. Hill lit off this inning with a solo home run. His next pitch is a fastball up and away. Count now even at 2. It's ironic I say that because it's superhero night. And up and away is a reference to Superman. Probably one of my favorites. But my number 1 might have to be Spider-Man. 2-2 the count, the pitch. Check swing. Goes around, says the base umpire and James Purnell.
We got a call there.
So a strikeout for Gizzy ends the inning, but the Crushers extend their lead to 4 after the solo home run by Aaron Hill. We head to the bottom of the 8th. Otters down by a score of 4-0 on the Otters Digital Network and 91.5 WUEV.
The International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local Chapter 16, would like to take time to say, Go Otters! The IBEW Local 16's jurisdiction includes 13 counties in southwestern Indiana, as well as Wabash County in Illinois. Its members are divided into several categories of electrical work, including inside construction, maintenance electric, residential wiring, and sign classifications. More information on IBEW Local 16 can be found online at ibew16.net.
The Tri-State Area Marathon Service Stations are proud supporters of the Evansville Otters. Marathon has over 5,100 Marathon-branded stations nationwide, and a full list of area Marathon stations and a list of daily gas prices are available online at mymarathonstation.com. Marathon provides products which support commercial, industrial, and retail operations. Marathon's slogan is fueling the American spirit.
The Tin Fish Restaurant is located at 707 State Street in Newburgh, Indiana. Independently owned and operated, the Tin Fish menu featured salads and sandwiches, as well as seafood platters and combos and seafood burritos, tacos, and burgers. The Tin Fish Restaurant is open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. They can be reached by phone at 812-490-7000. Visit them online at tinfishnewburgh.com. The Tin Fish Restaurant, a proud supporter of Evansville Otters baseball.
91.5 WUEV Evansville.
Welcome back to Evansville Otters baseball. Dave Nguyen here on the call. And my special guest is ready to go. Go ahead.
David, I just wanted to thank you for the opportunity to sit in and fill in for your usual sidekick and for a couple innings here and enjoy the opportunity to comment on our Evansville Otters. And hopefully you'll bring them back with a big bottom of the ninth, or bottom of the eighth and bottom of the ninth to pull this one out despite the 4-run deficit. But thank you very much. Thoroughly enjoyed the opportunity to work with a professional like you, and albeit an amateur like me. But thanks again.
No problem. Mr.
Okay.
Jim Casey on the call joining me throughout this ball game. Really appreciate it. As we head to the bottom of the eighth, Otters down by a score of 4-0. It'll be Mike Rizzitello that'll lead things off for the Otters. It'll be batters 4, 5, and 6 in the order for Evansville. Rizzitello, Castro, and Jack Meggs. Rizzitello 0 for 3 today. He came up in the third, flying out to right field with the bases loaded, 2 outs. And then he had runners on first and second with 1 out and flew out to the second baseman in shallow center field. First pitch to Riz is a ball inside. Count at 1-0. Rizzitello, the Long Island, New York native. Attended Dowling College, Division II school outside of Long Island. Next pitch to Riz, swing and a miss for strike 1. Count even at 1 to the new pitcher that has entered the game, and Dalton Geeky. One and 1 the count. Geeky, the right-handed pitcher from the left side of the rubber. De La Rosa sets up inside. The 1-1 is a breaking ball in the dirt. Count moves to 2-1 to Mike Rizzitello. De La Rosa, the catcher behind the plate. At third base is Dale Burdick. Shortstop Marrero. Second base Hill, and first base Jake Veith. Crushers wearing their road purple uniforms with gray pants. The 2-1 to Riz. Ground ball to the third baseman, Burdick. Backhanded stop. Across the diamond stretch. Not there in time. Rizzitello reaches first base safely. And it'll be ruled an error on the first baseman, or excuse me, the third baseman, Burdick. An E5 on the play. The Otters have a leadoff base runner in the bottom of the eighth. They're down by a score of 4-0. The Otters had the bases loaded with 1 out in the third, could not score. Runners on first and second with 1 out in both the fourth and the fifth innings, and failed to score. 4 runs on 6 hits for the Crushers, as Geeky has not recorded an out. Rizzitello reaches on an error, I should say. Castro to the plate. He has a single in this game. First pitch to Carlos is called time. It does not count. Castro calls time late. Castro 1 for 3. Single came back in the fourth inning to lead that off. Unfortunately, it did not score. Geeky pitched for the South Bend Cubs. Next pitch is a breaking ball in the dirt inside, almost hitting the ankles of Carlos Castro. There's a count at 1-0. So Geeky pitched for the South Bend Cubs in affiliated baseball in his last stint. 1-0 the count, righty-righty matchup. The 1-0. Check swing, and that's a foul ball behind home plate. A very late foul ball. Oh, no, it's not. Count now at 2-0. Great crowd here tonight. Very cool evening of baseball. Fortunately, the Otters are down by a score of 4-0, but they might have a rally up their sleeve. Up now the count is even at 1. The 1-1. Fly ball. Deep left field. Going back is Racusin to the wall. That is caught. Rizzitello makes the catch at the warning track for a long fly out for out number 1. To the plate now is Jack Meggs. Meggs is 0 for 3 today. Struck out in the second. Flew out to the shortstop in the fourth. And flew out in foul territory on the first base side back in the sixth. Runner on first in Rizzitello reaching on an error. Long fly ball out from Carlos Castro. Just got record of the attendance today, 2,943 here at Boston Field. There were 4,096 people last night. 1-0 the count to Jack Meggs. Geeky on the mound from the left side of the rubber. Right-handed pitcher, left-handed batter matchup. The 1-0. Pop-up in the infield. Locating it is Burdick, and he'll make the catch for out number 2. 2 outs. Rob Calabrese to the plate. Calabrese today is 1 for 2 with a single and a strikeout as well as a walk. Calabrese, the native of Tottenville, New York, located in Staten Island. De La Rosa, the catcher, sets up inside. Righty-righty matchup, the pitch. Will be a ball at the knees of Calabrese. Count at 1-0 with 2 outs. Calabrese entering this game was batting .280, 6 home runs, 18 RBIs. 34 hits on the year. One another count. The next pitch. Fly ball, left field, and that will drop as a blooping base hit. Using his speed and getting to third base is Rizzitello. Runners on the corners for the Otters with 2 outs. Second hit of the game from Rob Calabrese. He is now 4 for 8 in the series. Going to third is Rizzitello. To the plate now is the pinch hitter, Dakota Phillips. Second time Phillips has come in a pinch hit situation. In his first pinch hit at bat, came against the Windy City Thunderbolts in a day game on a Wednesday. It was splash day. Unfortunately, he struck out in that at bat. First pitch to Phillips. There's a ball outside. Count at 1-0. Calabrese on first. He singled. Rizzitello on third. He reached on an error. 4-0 the score in favor of the Crushers. The 1-0. Called strike inside to Dakota Phillips. Count now even at 1 with 2 outs. Playing at double play depth is the shortstop Marrero, moving closer to second base to his left. And moving toward his right is Hill at second base. But there are 2 outs. A big hole on the left side of the infield. 1-1 is a foul ball behind home plate. Count moves to 1-2. A big hole on the left side of the infield between shortstop and third base. And all the outfielders playing at normal depth. One and two the count. 2 outs. Runners on the corners for the Otters. The pitch to Phillips. Ripped through the hole, a base hit. That's an RBI single for Dakota Phillips and his second pinch hit at bat on the season. Puts the Otters on the board. Runners now at first and second with 2 outs. That single by Phillips scores Rizzitello. And maybe the Otters have some life. J.J. Gould to the plate. He's 0 for 3. 2 strikeouts looking, and a foul out, fly out to first base. Good job by Phillips, looking for a fastball in that at-bat. Was able to rip that pitch past the second baseman, Aaron Hill. The Otters have scored their first run of the game, down now by a score of 4-1. Righty-righty matchup. Runners on first and second for the Otters. 4-1 score. Geeky, the first pitch to Gould. Swing and a miss on a high fastball for strike 1. Oh and 1 to count to J.J. Geeky takes a deep breath on the mound. The 0-1. Swing and a miss. No, actually it's a foul ball off the catcher De La Rosa. Count now at 0-2. Well, the big fun fact today, July 13th, 1999, the All-Star game at historic Fenway Park, in which Ted Williams is carted out to the mound to throw out the ceremonial first pitch, where hometown pitcher Pedro Martinez does his best Carl Hubble impersonation. Martinez started the game by striking out Barry Larkin, Larry Walker, and Sammy Sosa. In the second inning, he struck out Mark McGuire, Matt Williams, then singled, and then he struck out Jeff Bagwell and Pudge Rodriguez throughout Matt Williams, attempting to steal second base. Martinez earned the MVP in that game. The American League won by a score of 4-1 at Fenway Park. 0-2 the pitch. It's a pop-up. Very shallow. De La Rosa seems to have it, and he makes the catch behind home plate for out number 3. The Otters score their first run of the game on a pinch hit RBI single by Dakota Phillips. We will head to the top of the 9th. Otters down by a score of 4-1 on the Otters Digital Network and 91.5 WUEV.
Why Old National Bank? Old National Bank began in 1834 with just one room and a passion for helping people prosper. Today, we are honored and grateful to be the financial partner for so many businesses, families, and individuals like you. From our commitment to safety and security to our promise of service that will exceed your expectations, we want to be your bank for life. Old National Bank, member FDIC.
The Evansville Otters would like to thank Sinorama Evansville for their support this season. Sinorama Evansville is a multi-application supplier of custom-made signs, banners, and decals in the tri-state. Located at 1300 North Royal Avenue in Evansville, Sinorama is open 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. They can be reached by phone at 812-477-7763 and can be found online at sinorama.com/in-Evansville. Sinorama Evansville, a proud supporter of Evansville Otters baseball.
This Evansville Otters broadcast is made possible through support from New Image Travel. New Image Travel provides motor coach charter service to the United States and Canada with pickup within a 150-mile radius of Evansville. A full list of New Image Travel's offerings can be found online at newimagecharter.com. New Image Travel can be reached toll-free at 1-800-432-6213. New Image Travel, a proud supporter of Evansville Otters baseball.
Welcome back to Evansville Otters baseball. Dave Nguyen on the call. This is a wow call to the bullpen. Wow, the best double play deal in town. Wow, the phone, internet, and cable provider in Evansville. We got a sidearm thrower. So playing right field will be Dakota Phillips. Taking over for Gozzo after his pinch hit RBI single back in the bottom of the 8th. We're in the top of the 9th. And Brian Heldman on the mound, the Houston, Texas native. Right-handed thrower. Sidearm action. It'll be Racusin, Burdick, and Veith for batters 6, 7, or 5, 6, and 7 in the Crushers order. First pitch from Heldman is a ball inside. Count at 1-0. Next pitch, sidearm. Ground ball through the hole. That's a base hit right up the middle of the infield. Racusin, first hit of the game. He is now 1 for 4. Dale Burdick to the plate. 1 for 3 today. Singled back in the 4th. Flew out to center in the 6th. Ground out to Ryan Long in the 2nd. Righty-righty matchup. Otters down by a score of 4-1. First pitch to Burdick. It'll be a foul ball in front of home plate. Count at 0-1. Racusin leads off this inning with a single, with the new pitcher, Brian Heldman, standing at 6'3". From Houston, Texas, went to the Sioux Falls Canaries, his previous team. The 0-1 is a pass ball. Well, wild pitch, I should say. Advancing to second base is Racusin. Crushers now have another runner in scoring position. 1-1 the count. No outs. 4-1 the score. Righty-righty matchup. The 1-1. Fly ball. That'll drop in front of Phillips for a base hit. Runners now on the corners for the Crushers with no outs. Racusin and Burdick have hit back-to-back singles. Jake Veith to the plate. Veith is 0 for 3 today with 2 strikeouts. He also flew out to J.J. Gould at shortstop back in the second. Veith, the first baseman, from the left side of the box. First pitch to Veith is a called strike on the outside corner from the sidearm thrower and Brian Heldman. Heldman, the right-handed pitcher from the right side of the rubber, stares down the runner at third base. 0-1 the count. Heldman from the belt. Kicks and fires the 0-1. Fly ball, deep left field. Going back is Grieshaber to the wall, and that ball is gone. A 3-run home run by Jake Veith. Crushers now with a commanding 7-1 lead. Veith, the powerful first baseman, touches home. 3-run homer. And it will bring up De La Rosa, the catcher. Still no outs. It'll bring up De La Rosa. De La Rosa is 0 for 2 with a walk back in the third. Pop up in the fifth. And a broken bat ground out in the seventh. First pitch, that will be a single down the left field line past the diving Ryan Long. Rounding first, heading to second will be De La Rosa, and now there will be more action in the Otters bullpen. So 4 straight hits allowed by Heldman, 3 singles and a home run. Still no outs. Bring up the 9-hole hitter and Stephen Kraft. 7-2 the score in favor of the Crushers after that 3-run home run. May have crushed the Otters' hopes of a victory. First pitch from Heldman is a ball outside. Warming up in the bullpen now for the Otters is Chris Cepeda, the right-hand thrower. Next pitch, a ground ball to Gould, Cronin. Throws over to first in time for out number 1. Going to third is De La Rosa. 4-3 the putout. We'll bring up the top of the order and Aaron Hill, who hit a solo home run back in the 8th. Hill hitting .260 on the year. Played for the Crushers last year, standing at 5'10". Hill today is 2 for 3 with a single, a home run, and a fielder's choice. Also struck out in the 5th. First pitch, a strike from Heldman for out number 1. Cepeda continues to warm up for the Otters. Runner on third, 1 out. Heldman from the right side of the rubber. The righty takes a deep breath on the mound. The 0-1. Ground ball that's up the middle for another base hit, and RBI single for Aaron Hill. He's going to stretch this into 2. Sliding into second base for a double is Aaron Hill. The Crushers have extended their lead to 8-1. Double for Hill. Rizzitello to the plate. He has scored the first 2 RBIs, and there's going to be a call to the bullpen as Otters pitching coach Max Peterson trots on the mound. Heldman has faced 6 batters, has allowed 4 runs. We head to a commercial break, and then when we come back, it'll be more Evansville Otters baseball on 91.5 WUEV and the Otters Digital Network.
The local Pepsi bottling group features Pepsi Company products for distribution to retailers and vendors in the tri-state and would like to wish the Evansville Otters the best of luck in today's contest. The Pepsi bottling group has locations at 2605 West Marion Street in Marion, Illinois, 3081 Contronics Drive in Owensboro, Kentucky, and 11733 West Industrial Park Drive in Elberfeld, Indiana. Information on Pepsi products can be found online at PepsiCo.com. Pepsi, a proud supporter of the Evansville Otters.
Since 1994, Slays Restoration has been assisting tri-state residents clean up and restore their properties after disasters of all kinds. Located at 2121 Cotter Avenue in Evansville, Slays Restoration offers assistance for water damage, fire and smoke damage, mold and biohazard mitigation, complete reconstruction, and much more. Slays Restoration can be reached toll-free 24 hours a day at 1-888-776-8555. It can also be found online at slaysrestoration.com.
Welcome back to Evansville Otters baseball. Dave Nguyen on the call. Otters down now by a score of 8-1. 4 runs have been scored in the top of the ninth. 8 runs on 11 hits, including a 3-run home run by Jake Veith. And then an RBI double by Aaron Hill. There is 1 out here in the top of the ninth. Chris Cepeda, the new pitcher for the Otters, as it is a wow call to the bullpen. Wow, the internet phone and cable provider in Evansville. Wow, the best double play deal in town. To the plate now will be Rizzitello, responsible for the first 2 RBIs of this game. Back in the third and fifth innings. The first pitch from Cepeda is a breaking ball in the dirt. Count at 1-0. Superhero night tonight. We were able to see Captain America, Spider-Man, Wonder Woman. The 1-0. Breaking ball in the dirt. Count moves to 2-0 to Rizzitello. Rizzitello has the RBI fielder's choice. The RBI single in the 5th. Sack bunt in the 1st. And the ground out back in the 8th. 3-0 the count now to Rizzitello. Runner on second and Hill. He has the RBI double. On deck will be Marrero, who hit a solo home run. The 3-0 pitch. Called a strike on the outside corner. 3-1 the count. Marrero on deck. The 3-1 pitch. Be ball 4 outside. Marrero to the plate. Marrero 1 for 4 today with a solo home run. So the switch hitting shortstop will hit from the left side to try to get an advantage against the right-handed pitcher for the Otters and Chris Cepeda. Runners on first and second, 1 out. 4 runs have been scored in this game, or in this inning in particular, as the Crushers lead by a score of 8-1. Oh-1 the count after the foul ball. Runners on first and second for Lake Erie, leading this one 8-1, 8 runs on 11 hits. The 0-1. Fly ball that will be fouled down the first base line. Count now at 0-2 with 1 out. Crowd of over 2,000 on hand tonight. 0-2 the count here at Bossy Field to Emmanuel Marrero. Next pitch is a high fastball that's high and away from Chris Cepeda. Count at 1-2 with 1 out. Cepeda and Rizzitello, good friends, both from New York. The 1-2. Fly ball foul down the third base line. Count remains at 1-2 to Emmanuel Marrero. Today in 1934, Babe Ruth hit his 700th home run. A record that would last for quite a while, until Hank Aaron came along. Swing at a foul ball that is ripped down the right field line. Count remains at 1-2. The Babe Ruth for the longest time had the home run record at 700. And then Hank Aaron broke it, hitting 755. The 1-2. Breaking ball outside from Cepeda. Count even at 2 with 1 out. Runners on first and second for Lake Erie. To the plate, if we get there, will be John Cable, as this is the 8th batter of the inning. 2-2. Outside, count at 3-2. New York connection on the pitcher-catcher battery. Cepeda trying to get a ground ball, hopefully for a double play. Cepeda, the right-handed pitcher for the Otters, kicks and fires the 3-2. And that'll be foul. Three and 2 the count, it remains. Three-two, wild pitch, and that is ball 4. So now the 9th batter of the inning will be the DH, John Cable. Racusin singled to lead off the inning. Burdick then singled, and then the third batter, and Veith hit the 3-run home run. The following batter was De La Rosa. He doubled. Kraft grounded out. And then Hill had an RBI double to score De La Rosa, to score the 4th run of the inning, and is now 8-1. At second base was Hill. He now moves over to third. To second base now is Rizzitello, and over to first is Marrero. Cable to the plate. 0 for 4 today. One and 0 the count. Here's the pitch. Fly ball, left field, foul territory. Long thinks he might have it, and he doesn't as the ball bounces in the seats on the left field side. Count even at 1 with 1 out. Today in 1971, the American League defeated the National League at Tiger Stadium by a score of 6-4. The MVP was Frank Robinson of the Baltimore Orioles. 1-1 the count. The pitch from Cepeda will be ripped foul to the Crushers dugout on the third base side. Count now moves to 1-2. Bases loaded for the Crushers. They scored 1 run in the third, 1 run in the fourth, 1 run in the fifth, 1 run in the sixth, 1 run in the eighth, and 4 now in the top of the ninth. 1-2, ground ball foul down the first base line. Otters and Crushers came in with the following records. Otters had a 29-22 record, or the Crushers came in at 25-23. 1-2 the count. Otters down 8-1. The pitch will be another fly ball foul. 1-2 the count. 1 out. The 1-2 from Cepeda. Swing and a late foul tip. Count remains at 1-2. 2 RBIs, one on a fielder's choice and one on a single by Rizzitello, scored Stephen Kraft in the 3rd and 5th innings. Solo home run by Marrero in the 6th. Solo home run by Hill. Oh, there's a strike 3 called on the outside corner. So the second out of the inning, we have batted around. Racusin to the plate. Earlier in this, he started off this inning with a single and a run scored. Scored on the 3-run home run by Jake Veith. Ground ball or fly ball, that's a base hit up the middle. 1 run scores from 3rd and Aaron Hill. The Crushers continue to pile on. So now Racusin with an RBI single. Burdick to the plate. Singled and scored on the Jake Veith 3-run home run earlier in this inning. Burdick today, 2 for 4 with 2 singles and a run scored. 2 outs, bases still loaded. To 3rd is Rizzitello. To 2nd is Marrero. To 1st now is Racusin. Next pitch is a strike to Cepeda. Count even at 1 with 2 outs. The 1-1 from Cepeda. Upstairs almost hits him. Count moves to 2-1. This is the 11th batter of the inning. 5 runs have been scored. The 2-1. Swing and a drive to left field. Grieshaber back to the warning track, makes the catch for the final out of the inning. 5 runs scored in this top half of the 9th. Crushers lead this 9-1 as we head to the bottom of the 9th. You're listening to Evansville Otters Baseball on the Otters Digital Network in 91.5 WUEV.
SRG Global, a Guardian company, would like to wish the Evansville Otters the best of luck in today's contest. Founded in 1932, SRG Global is one of the world's largest manufacturers of chrome-plated plastic parts for the automotive, commercial truck, and household appliance industry. Located locally at 601 North Congress Avenue in Evansville, SRG Global can be found online at srgglobal.com. They can also be reached in Evansville by phone at 812-477-6151.
Injuries are inevitable. It doesn't matter if you're playing baseball, walking the dog, or falling from a ladder. Injuries happen. When they do, Tri-State Orthopedics offers treatment for sprains, strains, and fractures by medical specialists. Tri-State Orthopedics is located at 225 Cross Lake Drive in Evansville, just north of the Lloyd and I-164. Tri-State Orthopedics can be reached by phone at 812-477-1558. Its urgent care line is 812-474-OUCH. Tri-State Orthopedics, a proud supporter of Evansville Otters baseball.
The local Pepsi bottling group features Pepsi Company products for distribution to retailers and vendors in the tri-state and would like to wish the Evansville Otters the best of luck in today's contest. The Pepsi bottling group has locations at 2605 West Marion Street in Marion, Illinois, 3081 Contronics Drive in Owensboro, Kentucky, and 11733 West Industrial Park Drive in Elberfeld, Indiana. Information on Pepsi products can be found online at PepsiCo.com. Pepsi, a proud supporter of the Evansville Otters.
It's been a very superstitious game. It is 9-1 heading to the bottom of the 9th. 5 runs have been scored in the top of the 9th. David Cronin to the plate. The Otters batted around in the 8th inning. To the 9th we go. It'll lead off with David Cronin, followed by Grieshaber and Ryan Long. On the mound for the Crushers will be Logan Lambana. Right-handed pitcher, left-handed batter matchup. Cronin's first pitch is a called strike on the outside corner. Counted 0-1 to start the bottom of the ninth. With the score within reach back in the third, fourth, and fifth innings, the Otters were down at one point 3-0. First pitch. The next pitch is fouled on the first base line. Count at 0-2 to Cronin. So in the bottom of the third, the Otters were down 1-0, and they had the bases loaded with one out and failed to score. And then they had runners on first and second in the fourth with one out, failed to score. Crushers then scored their second run of the game, in the fifth. Swing and a miss for Cronin for strike number 3, out number 1. Keith Grieshaber to the plate. He is 2 for 3 with a walk, 2 singles, and a strikeout. And then in the fifth, down 2-0, the Otters had runners on first and second with one out, and the Otters failed to score again. The Otters have left 11 runners on base heading into the bottom of the ninth. It's been that kind of game. The Otters have had plenty of opportunities. They had a strong quality start from Austin Nicely. Unfortunately, he's in line for the loss. Grieshaber to the plate. 0-1 the count, 1 out from Luke Lambana. Or Logan Lambana, excuse me. The 0-1 will be a fly ball foul down the first base line into the Otters bullpen. Counted 0-2. Third game of this series will be tomorrow, most likely the rubber match. First pitch at 5:05 p.m. Oh and 2 the count. The pitch will be a ball upstairs. Count moves to 1-2. It'll be Tyler Vale on the mound for the Otters tomorrow. He'll be opposed by Patrick Leddett, the only All-Star for the Crushers. 1-2 the count. Here's the pitch. It'll be a fly ball foul behind home plate. Count remains at 1-2. We'll check the final scores around the Frontier League. Final from Marion, Illinois. The Joliet Slammers defeat the Southern Illinois Miners by a score of 3-2. The Washington Wild Things defeated the Schaumburg Boomers by a score of 5-4. The 1-2 to Grieshaber will be fouled once more down the first base line. Count remains at 1-2. Top of the ninth in Crestwood, Illinois. The Windy City Thunderbolts hold a 3-run lead, 9-6 against the River City Rascals. And the final, the Florence Freedom have win number 37 on the year. They are 20 games over 500 with a 5-0 victory against the Gateway Grizzlies. 1-2 the count to Grieshaber, St. Louis native. The pitch, swing and a miss. Another strikeout. There's out number 2. Back-to-back strikeouts from Lambana. Ryan Long to the plate. Long is 0 for 3 with a walk, 2 strikeouts. One of those strikeouts was in the bottom of the third with the bases loaded, 1 out. Long, the Crandall, Texas native, steps to the plate. He was 0 for 3 yesterday. First pitch to Long. Swing and a miss for strike one. Mound visit. We'll get to some other fun facts today. Handful of All-Star games were played today. 1943, the 11th All-Star game. The American League defeated the National League 5-3 at Shibe Park in Philadelphia. 1943. And then in 1948, the American League won again in the 15th All-Star game by a score of 5-2 at Sportsman's Park in St. Louis. 0-1 the count to Ryan Long. Lombana looking to get out of the inning and secure a Crushers victory. Ground ball to the pitcher, Lombana. Toss over to first in time. That's the final out of the inning. Crushers win, evening the series at 1, winning tonight's game by a final score of 9-1. We'll come back with final thoughts in the postgame show right here on 91.5 WUEV and the Otters Digital Network.
The pizza brick road always goes to Tyroni's. I'm in the mood for pizza and I'm ready to go. The pizza brick road goes to Tyroni's. So follow me down the pizza brick road. Road down to Tyroni's. The pizza brick road. The pizza brick road always goes to Tyroni's.
Injuries are inevitable. It doesn't matter if you're playing baseball, walking the dog, or falling from a ladder. Injuries happen. When they do, Tri-State Orthopedics offers treatment for sprains, strains, and fractures by medical specialists. Tri-State Orthopedics is located at 225 Cross Lake Drive in Evansville, just north of the Lloyd and I-164. Tri-State Orthopedics can be reached by phone at 812-477-1558. Its urgent care line is 812-474-OUCH. Tri-State Orthopedics, a proud supporter of Evansville Otters baseball.
No matter how large or small your digging project may be, no matter how urban or rural, you must always call 811 before any digging project. 811 is our national one-call number, alerting your local utility companies to come out and mark any lines they have near your dig site. So before you do this or this, make sure you do this. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811. Brought to you by Indiana 811.
The Evansville Otters would like to thank the Evansville Courier and Press for their support and coverage of Otters baseball. The Evansville Courier and Press provides news, sports, and weather coverage to the Tri-State, both in a print and online edition. The Evansville Courier and Press can be found online at courierandpress.com, as well as on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Pinterest. The Evansville Courier and Press, a member of the Journal Media Group.
Welcome back to Bossy Field, Evansville Otters postgame show right here on the Otters Digital Network at 91.5 WUEV. The Otters fall to the Lake Erie Crushers in Game 2 of this three-game set by a score of 9-1. The Otters had multiple opportunities to tie and or take a lead in this game. With a score at 1-0 in favor of Lake Erie, the Otters had the bases loaded with one out and unfortunately could not score a run. Ryan Long stepped to the plate with the bases loaded, one out, struck out. Then with two outs, Mike Rizzitello stepped to the plate, flew out to right field. And then in the fourth inning, the Otters had runners on first and second, still a 1-0 deficit. And they were unable to score. With a 2-0 deficit heading into the fifth, after an RBI single from Rizzitello, the Otters had runners on first and second with one out. Unfortunately, it was the same result as the previous one. Otters falling by a score of 9-1. 5 runs were scored in the ninth inning in order for the Crushers to capitalize on their victory. Austin Nicely, unfortunately, takes the loss. Koenig gets the win. He improves his record to 3-0. Let's check the final scores around the Frontier League. The Joliet Slammers defeated the Southern Illinois Miners in Marion, Illinois by a score of 3-2. In Schaumburg, Illinois, the Washington Wild Things defeated the Schaumburg Boomers by a score of 5-4. See if the games went final at in Crestwood, Illinois, and they do. The Windy City Thunderbolts defeat the River City Rascals 9-6. And the Florence Freedom are now 20 games over 500, winning their 37th game of the year, 5-0 over the Gateway Grizzlies in Sauget, Illinois. Game 3 will be tomorrow, 5:05 first pitch start. Dave Nguyen and Bill McCune will be here on the call. The Otters look to their first rubber match against the Lake Erie Crushers right here on the Otters Digital Network at 91.5 WUEV. For my guests today, Mr. Jim Casey and Mr. John Stanley, I am Dave Nguyen, as well as for my radio engineer, Mr. Paul Mattingly. I'm Dave Nguyen, live from Bosse Field, signing off as the Otters fall to the Lake Erie Crushers by a score of 9-1. Good night, everybody.